It's a big day at the Academy of Extraordinary Abilities, and while everyone else is stressing about their futures, Ning Fong is glued to his phone, frantically gaming, and asking when his opponents will surrender. In the game, he's extraordinary. In real life, well, that's debatable. This walking L continues playing, saying that with such an advantage, it's impossible for him to lose. But then some chick just smacks him right in the face, and he's like, what the hell just happened? It's on you folks. And she is pissed. She's yelling at this fool, asking what he thinks he's doing, when the awakening exam is literally about to start. Like, dude, shouldn't you be preparing instead of playing games? Ning Fong grins like an idiot, asking if work and play aren't a great combination. Besides, he's already 18. At most, he'll awaken some common 2-star class. Why try when Wang Yu awaken a 5-star class at 16? She could just carry him. She immediately grabs him by the necks, saying that there's no way in hell she'll do that. Around them, other candidates whisper about Wang Yu being their school's goddess, praising her standout performance in special training. More students gather, admiring how she awakened a 5-star class at 16. County's been waiting for a genius like her, but they're all wondering who the hell that pathetic guy next to her is. One candidate explains it's Ning Fong, the school's official trash who. It's about to turn 18 and still hasn't awakened shit. Wang Yu starts driving him by the ear toward the exam entrance, while other candidates get pissed that someone like her is hanging around. With that waste of space, this world is called Blue Star, where gaming merge with reality. Everyone gets a shot at awakening extraordinary abilities at 16 and becoming adventurers. This is the National Adventure Awakening Exam at the city's number 7 high school. A supervisor addresses the second-year students, explaining exam rules, before shouting that the next awakened one could be any of them. Ning Fong, disappointed with Wang Yu's earlier beatdown, wonders why she makes such a fuss. This is his 3rd time taking this damn exam. He's no rookie anymore in the exam section. Teacher Chi calls students to the awakening test area. Successfully awakened students can grab basic equipment and prepare for the practical test, while candidates chat excitedly about their dream classes. Ning Fong remains bored until Chai calls the next. The 3rd year student Ning Fong. He steps forward and everyone starts laughing. The teacher greets him with a smile, telling him not to worry and stay calm. In the test area, she asked him to place his hands on the crystal and relax his mind. He does. But nothing happens. He wonders if he's going to fail this time as well. But then something weird happens. The crystal starts reacting and everyone's surprised. She's thinking if the stone reacted, it's definitely a class awakening. And that blue light means magic classes. She explains that upon awakening, you automatically learn initial skills. And I'll see how many stars the class gets. Fong is surprised, as the system tells him he awakened 1 S tier and learned the mud marsh technique. The teacher asks what skill he awakened, but he stays silent. She calls him again, and he turns around, not knowing what to say. She thinks he got his skill as useless as him. She hands him equipment and tells him to change and go to the next phase. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. Fong starts thinking about the system modifications when he awakens. The system detected he completed awakening and met conditions for system activation. More notifications came, saying the system was successfully activated, and he acquired passive abilities called Dark Origin and Mysterious Gift. Dark Origin means he doesn't suffer backlash from dark forces when using curses, and gets exemption from costs when using prohibitions. A Mysterious Gift lets him unleash forbidden spells once a week without any consumption, but only he can see this stuff. He's wondering why the dark force, which is apparently the most malevolent thing in the world, and what's mysterious about the gift, having anything to do with him. Then another notification appears, saying the mud marsh technique had detected something, and the transformation will begin. As he was wondering what this transformation thing even means, it was already over. The system says the transformation is completed. His mud marsh technique was transformed into a forbidden curse and became a profane earth shield fangs. Confused, because this talk of darkening and forbidden curses sounds ominous. especially with a practical test coming up. At the portal, the teacher explains. 50 people form a group to face monsters in the 5 sanctuary, to familiarize themselves with newly awakened abilities. No teaming up, no attacking each other. Drones supervise everything. She asks everyone to check abilities quickly, assuring no one will see Fong sees his abilities active. Earth Shield. Curse magic can invoke a dark force from another world to form a barrier, capable of crushing any enemy that approaches. He's thinking curse magic sounds dangerous, and if it's malevolent, he'll be in trouble if someone finds out. Everyone enters the portal. In the test area, people are battling monsters, and our boy is once again being useless and was cowering behind a bush. He wanted to use his powers, but he remembers drones are watching, so he can't use them recklessly. The problem is he doesn't have other attacks, so he'll have to hide and wait. One drone hovers right above Fong. In the supervision room, Captain Zhu gets angry seeing the images, saying while others kill monsters and level up. What the hell is that guy doing? She tries to be nice, saying the young man awakened late. His health isn't great and his abilities are trash, which isn't suitable for individual combat. This makes the captain more irritated. He says that they should have never let trash like him participate in the first place. He's just a 1-star and won't be a true adventurer. But then someone walks over, asking him to look at something. Drew turns around asking what's going on. The guy with glasses is sweating, saying he wasn't sure what happened. But one of the drones got attacked, and the transmission cut off. To make it worse, he points to radar, saying a monitoring alert detected a power fluctuation, way above average in the sanctuary. Captain Drew shouts, ordering someone to check what's happening. At the drone crash site, some young guy's trembling, saying how can there be such strong monsters? In the training field in front of him is a huge goblin that looks like Wolverine. This goblin shouts for companions to rise and no longer be enslaved, commanding them to obey his orders while shouting. A drone approaches, but the goblin notices immediately and attacks. Destroying it, debris falls into the forest, and one piece lands right on Fang's head. He's wondering why a drone would fall on his head, but then notices the Vanguard Goblin and other goblins surrounding him. The Vanguard Goblin laughs with a sinister look, saying it seems there was an insect hiding there. He orders an attack without wasting time. Our boy is thinking, why are there so many of these green bastards here? Then he remembered that the drone's gone. That means that he could go all out, and this would be a great chance to test if the forbidden spell is real. He lifts his finger, and as he does, incredible energy emanates from his body, scaring monsters and worrying the goblin leader. Just then, several terrifying creatures rise from the ground. Back in the supervision room, the 4 eyes inform Captain Zhu. All transmissions are lost, and there's suddenly a dark force leak in the sanctuary. It's suspected a king level, or higher magic beast appeared. John immediately orders reinforcements and civilian evacuation. This horrifies Teacher Che. How could a king-level beast, with the power to destroy entire cities, appear on exam day back at the battle? The goblin leader is terrified by what he's witnessing, as the protagonist is consumed by that ability. Strange dark power envelopes him, making his creatures tear through goblins. Fong looks at his hands thinking, so cursed magic works this way. He killed almost all of the goblins, instantly gaining tons of experience points. And now only the big bastard was alive, and things weren't looking too good for him. The aura from Fong's spell had left him stunned. He was standing there wondering how a human got his hands on the power of darkness. He tries running, but feels movements becoming extremely slow. Too late, the power reaches him, and screaming, he begs it not to come near. In the next moment, he was converted into 6,000 experience points. Fun status window pops up, showing he's officially a mage class. Thanks to his little monster beatdown, he jumped from level 1 to level 10. Currently, he's got 0 health, 8 strength, 8 agility, 20 spirit, and 12 resistance. Our boy's happy as hell because he leveled up so easily. In previous years' practical exams, People could only level up 1 or 2 levels max. But that reality smacks him in his stupid face. The experience from regular monsters was pretty crappy, and he only leveled up this much because of that. Giant Goblin, still trying to process his luck. He wonders, how the hell an elite monster even showed up? In an exam area, did someone mess up? Big time as he thinks about this disaster. Different items start falling from the sky. Surprised, he realizes it's treasure dropped by the elite monster. And even better, all that gear is orange quality. Looking at the Vanguard badge, he finds it weird since he's never seen equipment that actually makes you permanently stronger. This orange quality item boosts agility by 10 forever. Another drop. The Shadow Claw of the Slayer is also orange quality, but needs level 20 to use. It gives 13 extra strength, 16 agility, 10% attack speed, 5% critical rate, and 10% combo chance. Basically enough power to make him less pathetic. Fun's excited about his loot, even though he can't use the claw yet. But hey, he could sell this stuff for serious money. Feeling confident, now he believes he can finally face tougher monsters and start climbing out of his loser status. Just as he's planning his rise from trash tier, supervisors announce all students must immediately quit the test and use teleport scrolls to get out. Looking around more carefully, he notices something that makes his blood freeze. Fong turns in all directions, realizing everything around him looks like a battlefield. Those big holes scattered everywhere. Yeah, that's his dark magic's work, and it's scary as hell. The supervisors make another announcement, and he immediately uses his teleport scroll, thinking it's better to get out before someone figures out what happened. One by one, students return. Supervisor immediately tells them to leave the area and go home as the participants return. The captain is thinking seriously about what went down. He knows that, even if he were to call out every reinforcement possible, they won't be able to take down that king-level beast. And given the situation, the backup might not even arrive in time. But before he could even think about it, something even crazier happens. The dark energy source just vanished. This makes him super suspicious. Did the monster escape? She keeps getting orders through a radio, saying this mess has gotten way out of hand, and no one should panic everyone else. They must avoid large-scale fear and lock down the school, leaving only one exit for quick escape. Fong walks her over calling for the teacher. She's sweating like crazy from stress, asking if he's okay, not caring about the chaos. He says he's fine, but she yells for him to go home immediately. The school's temporarily closed, and he shouldn't come back unless absolutely necessary. Away from school, Fong and Won Yu are talking when he tells him the teacher looked really strange, like they were facing something deadly. Rivers say some unknown energy was found inside the school, and the whole place has been locked down. This makes Fong wonder if that unknown energy has anything to do with his elite monster fight. Bummed out, he thinks that just as he finally got something good, the school gets shut down. Won Yu is worried about him, thinking the whole thing hit him hard. She tries cheering him up, saying defensive magic can keep him alive, but isn't good for training alone. Starting tomorrow, she says he'll join her team. Trying to look tough, he says no thanks, telling her not to worry since he can train by himself. With a dumb expression, he pictures himself looking awesome with his new power, but at the same time, he knows he can't let anyone find out because of his forbidden dark magic. Won Yu looks at him thinking, what's gotten into this bastard? She told him that she won't take no for an answer. Tomorrow morning at 8, they'll be waiting at the west gate. With that, she leaves, leaving him talking to himself. Fong thinks that woman acts like she's his boss or something. With that bossy attitude, he thinks he should just act sick man. Look at his face, I'm dying. But he quickly decided against it. He knows if he makes an excuse and she finds out, she'll beat him up as he thinks about this. An idea comes to mind, but he's not sure if it will work. Fong decides to head to the Yuan Chong trading house. Looking at the huge building, he thinks that some weapons come with built-in abilities. He could buy gear with a minor spell and pretend to be a regular mage. Fong enters the store hoping the system won't turn the equipment's built-in abilities into curses. Plus he can sell the loot from the monsters he killed. A sales clerk walks over asking how she can help. He says he liked to buy equipment with a mirror spell, whether it's a weapon clothes or an accessory. She asks if he's a newly awakened student and explains that actually, low-level spells aren't worth buying specifically. However, they do have high-level equipment, more suitable for training, and she could show him some options. He simply says it's not necessary, since he needs something temporary. The equipment's grade doesn't need to be very high. She then does the most Chinese thing possible, thinking that our boy is broke. She calls over the new trainee to help him and leave, saying that after all this trouble, it seems he's just some broke kid, so she won't even bother. This new girl has this bright smile on her face, and none of that bitch attitude. She asked our boy if he needs anything. He explains what he's looking for. She leads him to the items and starts testing them. First an iron arm that gets him excited. Then a heavy hammer he can't even lift off the ground. Fong tries on a ring and decides to go with it. The trainee asks if he's happy with the ring. He laughs and says it's perfect, thanking her for helping him the whole time. Fong also asks if it's possible to sell items he got from Monster Drops. She says yes it is, and she'll take him to the right department. They enter the store and the store owner sitting there, with that kind of face, you know, the one you just want to punch, even though you literally did nothing wrong. The salesgirl told him that Fong wanted to sell some items. He takes out the claws and asks for help checking the item and its value. Wong takes the claws and is amazed. It's an orange quality weapon focused on speed and doesn't require a high level, making it perfect for beginners. Plus it has 3 gem slots, allowing for custom adjustments to create more personalized effects. Wong says it's a good item and believes several clients in his guild would be interested. He asks if Fong has any specific price expectations. Fong just simply says the higher the better. The expert asked Fong to sit down, saying he'll make some calls to potential buyers, and asked Miss Yang to take care of him. He then calls some rich dude named Mr. Jan and tells him about the equipment, while our boy was chilling, sipping tea in the waiting room. The expert returns, telling him the equipment has been sold, and the buyer is willing to pay 50,000 crystals. After taking out the 8% transaction fee, he gets 46,000 crystals. This leaves Fong and Yang speechless. They both stand up still shocked by the news. Wong says they can finish the paperwork right there. And once everything's set, the crystal transfer will be quick. He asked for it to be done fast and requests to see some more equipment while the final preparations are made. In another section, the staff are talking, and some girl asked the girl who dismissed Fong if she doesn't like handsome men and why she ignored him. She says she likes handsome men with money and power, and that guy didn't even deserve to be in the same place as her. Some time passes, and from far away, the staff noticed Fong returning. They asked if he was the client she didn't want to help. The one with tied-up hair says she heard the young man sold a piece of equipment. For 50,000 crystals, the black-haired one is shocked, saying that amount equals 3 months of her salary. She starts regretting it, wondering why she wasn't the one to help him. Outside, Miss Yang tells Fong that next time he comes, he should just find her directly. And with a smile, she introduces herself, saying her name is Yang Xin. The next day, Fong heads to his meet-up with Wong, you feeling a bit more confident after discovering the spells on his gear. Don't trigger the system when he arrives. Yu's already there along with her whole damn guild. She introduces him around, but the mage and shield warrior are eyeing him hard, confused by those stares. He wonders if he might owe them money or something. Then Chao Chong strolls in and casually asks you if she's about to hit her second transformation. Fong learns that every 30 levels you transcend, meaning he's probably sitting near level 60. Chong, trying way too hard to impress, whips out an advanced agility potion, something insanely rare and worth more than most people's lives. Turns out his daddy had to call in favors and burn through piles of cash just to get it. Yu, however, immediately declines, telling him to take it back. She doesn't need it, and they've got bigger priorities. Chong looks stunned, pressing her about university admissions. Instead of listening, he suddenly turns his sights on Fong, and he asks her why she's wasting time with trash. That's when Yu's entire vibe shifts. She looks at him and tells him to watch his mouth. But that idiot just can't take a hint. As he continues to disrespect our boy, Gizmo tries to calm that idiot down, saying that they need to leave. But this bastard doesn't listen, saying that Fong barely has enough money to buy a bottle of basic potion. Fong mocks Xiao Chong, saying, "It's just a potion that adds 3 measly attributes, so he should stop showing off." This pisses off Xiao Chong, and he asks how Fong dares to speak to him like that. A shield warrior jumps into the conversation, saying Xiao Chong was talking too loudly, and asks if by any chance Fong has something more powerful. Chong starts smiling as he says, if Fong proves he has such an item, Xiao Chong will immediately kneel. However, if he can't prove it, Fong will kneel and smash his head on the ground. At that moment, Fong takes out his item, telling Xiao Chong to get ready. He asked Wang Yu to take it, since it was meant to be her gift. Surprised, she asks because the Pioneer's emblem, an item that permanently increases attributes. She's never seen anything like it, leaving everyone there amazed, and wondering how there could be an item that permanently boosts attributes by more than 10. They think it must be fake. Fong simply says whether it's fake or not. She should try it out and find out. Looking at the item, she hesitates, unsure whether to take it or not, but he reassures her, telling her not to worry, because he found the item at his house, and it was meant to be hers. He shouts for her to use it quickly. Since everyone there is dying to see what happens, she uses the item, and says her attributes have indeed increased. Meanwhile, the shield warrior and Xiao Chong can't believe their eyes. This broke kid just pulled out gear worth more than their monthly allowance. Chong suggests Fong probably stole it, because there's no way a loser like him could afford something that expensive. Fong says he better keep his promise immediately. Xiao Chong refuses, but Wang Yu asks if he isn't a man, and if he's going to back down like a coward. He looks around hoping for someone to help him, but everyone is giving him dirty looks that say, "You made the bet, now pay up." He then begins to kneel. Fong tells Wang Yu it's time to leave. On the way, she tries to apologize, but Fong interrupts her, asking her to stop, because their relationship doesn't need that kind of thing. He says she really doesn't need to come with him. He would prefer that she focus on her second transformation and get into the best university, because with her by his side, he can't train efficiently. Plus, he's got some dark magic secrets to hide. Worried about Fane, she asks him not to get discouraged and hands him a book, saying it's for him, not quite understanding what it is. He asks if the skill book. She says it is, and when he reaches the right level, he should learn those skills. Fong asks if all of them are purple quality, and, judging by their look, that they're all expensive as hell. She responds that they don't come close to the value of the item he gave her. He smiles and closes the book, saying he'll accept it. The scene shifts to a cursed-ass dungeon, where he was fighting with the zombies. And our boy is doing what he is best at, being useless. He's thinking about how the monster in this place doesn't give much experience, since he's already level 10. But you can't tell her that. Right on the heels of that, she gets a call from the guys from before. The pink-haired girl told her that they got news, that a fallen necromancer is about to appear. She says that it is a rare opportunity, and asks her if she will join. So Xiao Chuan notices Su talking to Wang Yu, and he's insisting she has to come and help them, or how else are they going to defeat the boss? He also adds that the fallen necromancer might drop rare items from mages, which is super important to him. She tries to downplay it, so Wang Yu doesn't hear all this nonsense. Wang Yu thinks for a moment and looks at Feng, who tells her to go ahead, and assures her everything's fine. After all, they're all in the same dungeon, and she can continue training later. She takes a deep breath, says okay, but asks Feng to go to the safe area and wait for her. He smiles and agrees quickly. She heads toward her group, and this is the moment this bastard was waiting for. Now that he was alone, he would head inside the dungeon, and he was already prepared for it. He learned 2 new skills. In any case, they can all be used once for free, so it's better to have as many curses as possible. The system notifies him that his mysterious passive ability gift will allow him to release forbidden spells once a week. Without any consumption, Fong begins to stretch, saying with his current level, he only has 3 skill slots, and the skill books, yeah, can only be used after level 15. At the same time, in another part of this cursed-ass dungeon, another group was fighting the monsters when someone said that they needed to kill everything along the way. To get there, he asked them to be careful, as the difficulty's high, and the monsters inside are very dangerous. As he says this, a huge flame passes right in front of them. The priest girl asks if an adventure team is already ahead of them. The tank is confused, asking how that's possible. That's when they realize that it's Wang Yu and Xiao Chong from the Lion Guild. Even at the national level, they're considered new talents, truly deserving of their reputation on the battlefield. That bastard. Cho Chong yells that the boss is definitely his, and asks if those fools think they can compete with him. Chu asked the berserker if he noticed you had gotten stronger, and he definitely did, especially since her agility increased by 10 points. Meanwhile, in the main tower of this cursed-ass dungeon, a portal begins to form its Fong laughing, saying it seems this ability isn't just high-level magic, prohibition space, but also a teleportation ability. At that moment, some serious dark aura begins forming, and the dungeon boss, the fallen necromancer, walks out of the darkness. Fong, this dumbass, just goes, "Yo, bro, you're late, professional." Turns out the necromancer wasn't in the mood for jokes, so he just summons a massive rock and attacks our boy with it. His feelings were hurt because how dare an adventurer as ugly as him appear alone here? As he says this, Fong appears from the portal, right behind the necromancer, using the void path. He says he doesn't want to share loot with others. He was standing face to face with that undead bastard as he used his skill Meteor Rain, summoning a bunch of space stones. That finished the work for him. Not only did he kill the necromancer, but he also destroyed the tower itself, killing all the surrounding monsters. Now he was standing there, grinning like an idiot, while the system kept announcing rewards for his monster genocide. This bastard got 50,000 experience, and his level shot up to 30 an instant. Fong walks around picking up loot, shiny gems, jewels, and skill books are scattered everywhere. The skill books aren't only for mages, but are still worth enough money to make him feel rich. The Darkstone items give more magic damage and life drain, which sounds broken enough to scare any healer. He also finds a necromancer pendant that boosts strength, spirit, and curse resistance while making him immune to poison. The cherry on top is the necromancer insignia, a consumable that chops off 3 life points, but gives 15 spirit forever. Fong shrugs and uses it right away, because who cares about life when you can flex more spirit? The system then drops a surprise, saying a hidden item called a necromancer emblem has been detected with it. Fong could unlock rare, hidden professions, like necromancer, sorcerer, or even an all-elemental mage. He's over the moon, since these classes are usually rare. Bro doesn't even think about what to choose, and picks the all-elemental mage, saying that's what real men would do. Real men, huh? Please, real men go Malay. This idiot gets way too excited, and his dark magic slips out, causing a big scene around the dungeon, making things harder for Juan. Use guilt. Cha-Chung gets pissed because he wanted the boss kill, but Yu shouts at him to shut up, unless he wants everyone roasted alive. Juan Yu quickly messages Fong, telling him to leave, but he's already slipped away to the transformation hall. Place is nearly empty, and when he turns around, a woman greets him, asking if he came for the transformation task. He says yes, and she begins taking his details, while secretly judging him for becoming a mage so late. 18, she points him to the mage sector and tells him to call if he needs anything. Thanks her politely while she walks back to her desk, only to find Captain Joe waiting, with a face that screams bad news. He, Joe, explains that the sinister cemetery has been wrecked, and the energy level might be worse than a king's threat. The woman raises her brow, asking if this is the second king's threat in 2 days. Joe nods and says he was sent by the higher UPS to request the solitary shadow to take action. In the transformation room, the system drops 2 options on phone. The first is the necromancer's first transformation mission. Obtain the mission item Blood King's Rope by entering a phantasmal realm. Labyrinth of Illusions, deadline 3 days. Difficulty class of the second option is God of Universal Magic's first transformation mission. Prerequisite: obtain the sacred emblem by entering the phantasmal realm. Temple of the Resplendent Sun. Same 3-day deadline. But the difficulty cranks up to Class S. Fong asks why there are 2 options, and notices that the All-Elemental Mage is just a preliminary mission. Even so, he decides to accept it. After choosing his mission, he decides to leave as he was heading down. He sees that he even got an S-rank mission. Well, it's something you would expect from a hidden class. Fong says goodbye to the girl, to find that she wasn't the same woman who attended to him earlier. Meanwhile, back in the cursed-ass dungeon, someone's analyzing all that dark energy. He says it's the first time he's seen someone from the Solitary Shadow, and comments on how their uniform is different. From what he knows, Captain Joe asks him to keep quiet because the existence of that organization is secret. He begins explaining that the members of the Solitary Shadow have a hidden class that allows them to use dark power, darkness that makes them perfect for special missions. This person is Jing, the same one who LED phoned to choose the transformation mission, but she starts feeling something strange, saying the dark power is overwhelming. Even though it's dissipated significantly, it still affects her. Jing explains to the 2 that they didn't find any clues. In fact, it seems the person responsible vanished after causing damage, making it impossible to deduce their objectives. Concerned about the situation, Captain Joe says there have been frequent reports of anomalies in some secret areas recently, which could signal some crisis brewing. He asks if there could be any connection with this issue. She responds that it's hard to say, but she consult the superiors and request reinforcements. Joe asks if the county is concerned, considering they were going to send the famous Lone Hurricane from the Lone Shadow. The guy of the glasses approaches and asks if she can confirm whether the cause of the damage is a monster, and if there's a possibility it could be. Jing interrupts him, wanting to know if he's suggesting the cause could be someone like her, a mutant. Fry's tone shifts immediately and he apologizes, saying that wasn't what he meant. She explains that the threat levels, they're already surpassed king level. Trying to control such massive dark power is something the human body simply couldn't withstand. Then asked if it's possible that an abnormally powerful monster hiding in the city could bring a catastrophe like this anytime, and this lady doesn't sugarcoat it. She just nods and says it's possible, and that's why they have to find that bastard as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the idiot in question is chilling in the room, looking outside. He says the darkness is strangely comforting now that he's reached level 30 and gained 4 more skill slots. He could finally use the 2 books Wang Yi gave him. The system message pops up, notifying him that the possible fusion detection of the arcane shield with the foul earth shell was automatically executed. He got a new passive skill called Foul Earth Defense. The system informs him that his new passive skill will automatically activate when attacked, absorbing 100% of damage. The system goes off again, this time fusing Foul Earth Shell with Meager Rain, and as a result, he hits another passive skill, Elemental Earth Mastery, which makes all his earth spells hit 20% harder. Looking at his skills, he sees 4 empty slots, so he decides to buy more books at the Yu Chong trade market. When morning comes, he heads out. Inside the market, he runs into that receptionist from before. She greets him with a fake smile and says Miss Yang Xin is busy, so she will help him instead. Fong says no thanks, he will look around on his own. She flips out and calls him less of a man for rejecting her charm. She runs after him, insisting she can still help. When suddenly Xin shows up, sweaty and out of breath. She explains she was only eating lunch when her coworker told her he was there. Fong apologizes and promises her a dinner later to make up for it. Later in Wang's office, Fong places 2 books on the desk and says he wants to buy mage skills. Wang agrees and tells Xin to guide him. Wang finds Fong more and more interesting. Since last time, he took an orange weapon, and now he is buying purple skill books. He decides Fong might be worth looking into. That night, Fong and Xin go out to eat, and when he tries to pay the bill, my girl is already 2 steps ahead. He's already covered it. He feels awkward since he promised to treat her, but she says she had her own reason for inviting him. She smiles and calls it secret. Before leaving in a taxi in the cab, the driver asks where to, and she replies, Municipal Hospital number 2. She thinks about her sick father and feels relieved she can finally pay his bills. Thanks to Fong, just then, the driver slams into something. Clock bursts through his chest. A portal tears open above, and monsters start pouring out. Shin leaps from the car, hitting the ground hard, and looks up. She's confused as to how monsters could appear inside the safe zone. Shin freezes when she feels a monster breathing behind her from the portal. Another figure steps out, glowing with insane energy and smiling in a way that screams. Nothing good is about to happen. She fires off a weak attack that blows up, but only makes the monster madder. She sighs because she is just a level 1 mage, with a 1-star rating the monster charges. And just when she thinks it is over, Joe shows up and slices its head off. He checks if she can move and tells her to hide. Joe studies the area and sees the decay spreading everywhere. He mutters that the secret realm is leaking into reality, and that common people with 1 star will be wiped. Instantly, he remembers the nerd with glasses, warning about a hidden monster that could destroy everything. Right then, a massive hand slams down from above. Joe dodges and faces a creepy figure who introduces himself as the Guardian of the Power of Darkness. Joe has never heard of him and honestly does not care, since staying alive is the bigger problem. He swings his sword but gets punched across the field. The observer taunts him, saying this land makes him stronger. He slams you again, leaving blood everywhere. But then a voice from his amulet calls him a weak idiot. Drowning in vanity, he panics and apologizes. A rift opens above his head and some disgruntled, hollow-like creature steps through it. This bastard wants him to drop to his knees and to sacrifice the whole city for its dominion. That is when our boy walks out. He's looking confused like he just left the bathroom and missed the entire apocalypse. A monster spots him and lunges, but Fong uses his Earth Spike skill and takes care of it instantly. He brags that the new weapon, with a purple skill, was worth the money. Across the room, that bastard from a 4 drops Joe and turns to Fong, calling him the last bug he needs to take care of. He attacks, but is stunned when Fong blocks him with strange, dark energy. The entity above grows curious, fascinated by the terrifying aura pouring from Fong. He says that the aura our boy was giving off was stronger than death itself. Fong narrows his eyes and blasts the shell off. That bastard's arm. He begs for his leader to help him, but gets ghosted instead. He tells him to deal with his problems himself. Then it drifts back into the portal, dragging its monsters along, until the rift finally shuts. So now he's lying on the ground, saying his power is fading fast. Fong sees him, and that evil grin pops up on his face. He figures out the guy is one of those shadow class mutants. They start strong, but once the shadow shield is gone, they lose their minds fast. Fong is not in the mood for babysitting, so he uses Earth Spike and finishes him off. He mutters that shadow freaks are annoying. Now he has to scoop up all that shiny loot before someone else shows up and claims it. Meanwhile, across town, Jing and her assistant are doing the post-apocalyptic. Cleanup to her assistants are like, hey, good news, the monsters bounce, and the reality distortions disappeared. But Jing's got that detective brain working overtime. She is wondering why these distortions keep popping up randomly. What's the enemy's endgame here? Turns out most of the city's fine, except for the south side, where Captain Joe's squad got absolutely wrecked. Jing decides to go check it out. At the crime scene, we meet Duan, this mysterious dude who's examining Guardian's dead body. Guy's thinking, damn, this corpse is cleaned out. Someone already looted everything. Then Jing shows up yelling, freeze. Who are you? Duan is like, calm down, woman, and flashes his ID. It turns out he's from Cloud Realm, some unofficial fighter organization. Jing's like, wait, aren't you guys the secret ninja types? Why are you here in broad daylight? Duan points at the corpse and says that that guy used to be one of their members, but he betrayed them, helped monsters invade through reality distortions, and got almost everyone killed. Jing asks if killing him stopped the invasion. But Duan's like, nope. And we don't even know who did it. He explains, this entity is basically the master of hide and seek, always escaping when he tries to hunt it down. The fact that someone took down his ex-partner, when even Captain Joe, who's apparently level 90 plus in power scaling, got completely destroyed, has them both wondering if there's some secret power player hiding in their city. Back at Feng's place, our boy is looking at the loot he got from that bastard. He scored 2 pieces of orange armor, the Eternal Radiance chest and pants, both requiring level 120 Feng's thinking weird. The Guardian wasn't using these. Probably wasn't high enough level. If he were, I would have needed to use forbidden techniques to win. But here's where it gets creepy. There's this mysterious pendant with no quality rating, and all unknown stats Fangs. Playing with it, wondering if some ancient god is chilling inside. Little does he know, something is watching him through it. Cut to the distortion. Entity having a full panic attack somewhere else, screaming about how it barely escaped. And close the distortion in time. This thing is watching Fong through the pendant, having flashbacks. Terrified that somehow our boy can sense it, the entity literally cuts all connections and starts squirting bullets, wondering how Fong detected it. The next day, at the hospital, Captain Joe was telling Jing about this mysterious young fighter who saved everyone. Apparently, as soon as the enemy saw this guy, immediately nope out through a distortion portal. Jing's thinking, this mystery person might be as strong as her, which is everyone. Confused about why he couldn't catch the entity. Then Glasses Guy drops his theory saying, what if the mystery fighter is also a mutant? Because there are traces of darkness. Power at the battle scene. Joe immediately shoots it down saying, that's impossible, you're overthinking. But Jing's sitting there thinking, what if he is meanwhile? Somewhere else our boy walks up and tells the guards that he wants to do the job. Change quest so. Fong walks into what's supposed to be the Temple of Radiance. He's looking around thinking, am I even in the right place? Meanwhile, hiding in the shadows, we got Duan watching him. Earlier at the trade market, Duan showed up, asking about 4-star fighter armor sets. Wong thinks to himself, what a coincidence. We just got a call from someone selling a 4-star chest and pants set. Duan goes serious asking where this person is. Wong explains the seller went to a neighboring city, and you can see the gears turning in Duan's head. This matches exactly what he's been hunting for. Probably his master's legacy gear. He offers to pay for info on where this guy is, which has Wong sweating, thinking these two are definitely working together. By the time Wong comes back with details, Duan's already left. Wong starts panicking and tells the receptionist about Feng's background. Poor orphan kid, dead parents. Common 1-star class, basically a nobody. She's like, wait, I thought he was impressive, but he's just some regular guy. Wong's having theories now. How does a broke 1-star kid get 4-star gear, even though he's friends with the Wong group's daughter? They didn't help him much. The receptionist starts imagining Duan beating up Fong, since a 4-star fighter could wreck anyone, even their whole province. Back to the present, Duan's still watching Fong, thinking how did this kid repel a distortion invasion when even Masters got destroyed? He's convinced either Fong has the Master's gear or someone powerful is backing him. Fong finally reaches the temple, and Duan's watching him change clothes, hoping to figure out his power level by his equipment. But our boy just puts on normal student clothes. Duan's like, is this a disguise? Something he uses to blend in with the crowd. So Duan uses some mental tracking ability. Basically puts a tracker on Fong without him knowing. Inside the temple, a monster tries to attack Fong and shoots an energy blast at him. And our boy just casually blocks it, without taking his hands out of his pockets. Duan's watching like, what was that? Does this guy have some kind of automatic defense? Then it gets weirder. Monsters start avoiding Fong. Duan's confused. Is this guy even normal? Fong stops in front of a huge statue, who was supposed to be the boss of this dungeon. But sensing his aura, the dude didn't even move. In his mind, he is thinking, I'm a statue, walk past me. I'm a statue, walk past me. Even Duan's confused why the statue isn't moving. Fang's like, this probably isn't the mission guide, and walks away. Then the real boss shows up, a 6-winged angel flying. And who takes one look at Fong? and immediately flies away. Just straight up leaves like, I'm not dealing with this. Fong's standing there confused while Duan's mind is blown. Was that the hidden boss? How did he know? The system explains. This is an S-level first-class change. Mission: defeat the six-wing angel hidden boss. Fong reads it and goes. Who can handle S-level during their first-class change? Meanwhile, the boss is flying away panicking. He is thinking, this is my own domain and I still have to run. Just then the sky goes crazy with lightning and thunder. Fong decided he is not interested in playing cat and mouse with the angel, so he raises his hand, summons a giant eye in the sky, and calls down a massive lightning storm. The lightning destroys this six-winged angel instantly. Fong's lightning attack was so ridiculously powerful that it didn't just kill the boss. It straight up demolished half the temple too. Duan standing there with his jaw on the floor, thinking, I've never seen destructive magic like this before. This guy's definitely stronger than my master was. He's wondering if Fong might be one of the 8 legendary warriors. Meanwhile, our boy isn't happy about the fact that he can't level up until he completes his first transformation. So he's basically wasting experience points. At least he got the Sacred Emblem, which is a legendary item that permanently boosts spirit attributes and recovery effects by 100%. Fong pulls out his teleport scroll and is about to head back when Duan comes running over like, wait. Fong turns around looking serious, and Duan immediately gets scared, thinking, why does he look so intense? Please don't kill me, but then an alarm starts blaring, and they both decide to get out of there first. Outside, Fong asks if one was following him the whole time. Yun apologizes and explains he just wanted to confirm something, adding that Fong looks really young, so he wasn't sure what he was seeing. Then he drops his backstory. His master was strong, but had to sacrifice his life to temporarily seal a distortion. The traitor escaped and has been using humans as sacrifices, trying to break the seal ever since. Fong realizes this traitor was in the 4th transformation level, and if the guy hadn't shown up on his own, Fong never would have noticed him. But his level is still too low, and it's only a matter of time before he gets discovered. Duan's sweating nervously, thinking Fong went quiet to plan his murder, or something new, and thanks Fong for avenging his master, and says if he ever needs anything, just call things, thinking this guy isn't weak. And he's a loner, so building a good relationship might be useful. Later, Fong asked him not to tell anyone what happened during the mission, because he prefers keeping things secret. Duan promises to keep it quiet, thinking about this mysterious figure with incredible darkness magic, who doesn't harm innocents and save the entire city. Someone that's strong and discreet deserves his respect. Then Fong's phone rings. It's Professor Chi asking where he is. He says he's out of town, but coming back. She says she has some things to ask him when he returns. Fang's confused why she called so suddenly. Cut to Jing and Chi talking. Chi explains that a student who awakened a few days ago suddenly reached first transformation, and if she hadn't been investigating, it might have gone unnoticed. She trusts Fong is a good person, but Jing says some things need clarification. Then we get this intense meeting scene, where Jing asks if the destruction spells in the city were caused by mutants. An old guy points out that she herself is a mutant, so why is she asking? He explains mutants use the power of darkness, but pay a price the stronger they are. The bigger the cost, they can lose their lives, sanity, or transform into monsters. A king-level mutant would be impossible. Some spiky-haired guy mocks her, saying she's losing her mind, and if there really was a king-level mutant, he cut off his own head and let her use it as a soccer ball. The old man says they're sending an investigation team to the city, but won't approve reinforcements from Solitary Shadow. Jing gets mad, asking if they don't trust her right. Then her assistant bursts in with urgent news. The Temple of Radiance in Longbu was hit by destruction spells, and there were injuries. She gets worried, because that's where Fong was registered for training. And Jing just smiles, saying, this dude just got way more interesting. Meanwhile, in Longbo City, they got their fancy shield up, while people are panicking. Guards are doing their best customer service. voice assuring everyone the shield's working perfectly and will keep the darkness out. Fang's sweating bullets because his little temple demolition project has turned into a city-wide alert. He's hoping they'll dial down the paranoia so he could drive home and pretend none of this happened. But the universe has other plans. A black fissure tears open above the shield, revealing a demonic-faced demons start pouring out. And one of them asks if this is the human world, while staring at the giant shield. Another demon's already figured out humans are fragile and love hiding behind their magical security blankets. Horn leader points dramatically and orders his crew to give the humans a surprise. They start attacking, and the shield starts cracking as the demons enter. Inside the city, guards are standing there not knowing what to do, and all of them are thinking one thing. How the hell did our expensive magical defense system just become a decorative piece? Crab panics and starts trampling each other in true human fashion. Duan's immediately ready for action, telling Fong, "This looks like another high-level kingdom invasion." Fong asks him if it's like last night's such a shit show. When Fong asks what they should do, Duan's thinking, this guy could probably handle everything solo, so why is he asking must be a test. Duan tells Fong to chill while he handles business. Fong's thinking with all these civilians around, maybe sitting this one out isn't the worst idea. The horn demon lands with his villain laugh, and soldiers try their best, but their arrows bounce off. And when one brave warrior jumps on his back, he hits him so hard that the poor dude must have landed directly. In the next week now, the demon starts trash, talking about how disappointing humans are, while approaching a terrified little girl, ready to add child murder to his resume. But Duan blocks the attack, giving the kid time to escape. And the demon a serious case of confusion. Mixed with rage, the demon got angry that someone was messing with his killing spree. But Duan just smiled wickedly and told Fong not to worry. Duan then beat up the demon so badly that people watching were amazed and figured he must be from some super rare 5-star hidden class. After the demon exploded behind him, Duan walked away, calmly revealing he was level 137 and a legendary martial artist. Fong thought to himself that Duan was pretty incredible and definitely had something special about him. After Duan finished off a monster leader, all the remaining creatures started retreating back into the rift. The soldiers are yelling, "Now's our chance." Counter-attack, Duan walks over to Fong, asking if there's anything else he can do. And our boy gives him a big thumbs up, saying everything's fine, and complimenting his excellent work. People watching from a distance are thinking, Fong must be some big shot if Duan is showing him respect, doing hands over the items that drop from the boss fight. Fang's happy because they're of legendary quality. Even if he can't use them himself, he could sell them for tens of thousands of crystals. On the market, people start shouting, asking if they need anything, offering to help with whatever. Fang's thinking, the agility skill book would be perfect for Wang Yu. It could sell the black shield later. Then a priest and warrior approach them, and someone starts thanking them for saving the city. Guy introduces himself as Mu Dongming, the mayor of Longbo, and asks if they're not from around there, since they seem lost. Fong says they just came to conduct some business, but got stuck there temporarily. The mayor starts sweating under Fang's intense stare, and immediately goes into damage control mode, bowing and apologizing, like he personally summoned the demons. Fong tries to calm him down, saying it's not their fault. It was actually his own mistake. The mayor turns and asks someone to bring the flight scroll he just bought, saying he'll give it to them as compensation. Fong's surprised because flight scrolls are rare items, especially in a small city like Longbo. Even though it's single use, it provides quick, long-distance travel. The mayor takes the opportunity to make an embarrassing request. Things haven't been peaceful lately, and he asks if they could stay in Longbo a little longer since the city's defenses are weak, but that he puts his hand on his head, saying he regrets asking because he's out of time. Things thinking about his class change. Mission having a 3-day limit. If they delay here, he won't be able to complete his first transformation ever again. But looking at the protagonist, the mayor sees the crushing look in his eyes and says, It's fine, they'll leave it for another time. One of the mayor's bodyguards returns, saying the scroll is ready. The mayor informs Feng that this is the supreme black card of the Yuan Chong Trading Guild, just a small token of gratitude and respect. Feng's impressed because these cards are issued to maybe a dozen people who matter. They accept the gift and express their thanks. The mayor asks that if Longbow is ever in danger, they can ask for their help. Feng responds that he'll come to help out, as long as he has time. Then they immediately use the scroll and fly away. Meanwhile, back in Shinyu City, Wang Yu's guildmates are chatting. After leaving the class change room, he spots two people flying overhead and thinks one might be Feng. Job laughs it off. How could so newly awakened nobody afford a flight scroll worth thousands? He turns around with murder in her eyes, warning him that talking shit about Feng again will end badly for him. Su tries to redirect the conversation, asking about their missions. Chao told him that he was only able to get a Class A, but not the golden level S everyone wants. They're all patting Joe's ego about completing his second transformation. At 18, calling him university material. When they ask you about her mission, she stays silent, making everyone think she bombed it. Berserker's wondering if she got level C or worse, while Shou's internally thinking that even the golden girl has off days. She then told everyone that she got S class. As she said that, the room goes silent. Everyone stares at her. Chu asked why she kept quiet. Yu explains her case is different, because the mission unlocked a hidden class she has never even heard of. Joe's shocked, wondering how that could be possible, since classes are usually determined when you awaken. He's never heard of unlocking a hidden class. During a class change, thinking Yu must be mistaken, but Yu starts remembering when she was at the class change field. The system told her that class progression detected. She had the key item Vanguard emblem, which could advance her original profession of Swift Archer to Shadow of the Vanguard. And her class change mission would also change. And then a system window popped up, asking if she wants to change her class. She is surprised, thinking about how that emblem was a gift from Feng. Thinking back, she remembers how confident he was when he gave it to her, wondering if maybe he knew about the item's power all along. She immediately accepted the mission and thanked him for the gift. After explaining what happened during her mission selection, he was upset that she was so hasty. Joe starts yelling, asking what Shadow of the Vanguard even is, since he's never heard of it, suggesting maybe the class change system was broken, and if she made the wrong choice, it could ruin her entire life. The Berserker says he's jealous, wondering how someone can have a 5-star hidden profession and still advance. Tu says that he, too, wanted a childhood friend like Feng. Hearing all this, Joe becomes furious, thinking he needs to send someone to find an emblem too, no matter the cost or danger. Meanwhile, Feng grabs his secret emblem, which permanently grants him 5 additional life and spirit attribute points. He laughs, saying, not only did his attributes increase significantly, but he also got new passive abilities. Wondering how far he can push his control over forbidden spells, the system tells him he acquired the passive ability, Domain of Darkness. His control over darkness power greatly increased, letting him manipulate forbidden spells with precision. Outside, Duan is still waiting when Jing shows up. She looks at him and thinks, wow, this guy is young, but already has scary power. Even across the country, he would rank near the top. And every time her team saw him, he was walking a step behind Feng. Jay mutters to Chi, that Feng student is not someone you can push around. Then she waves it off and says fine. She will let Chai handle this mess. She nods and says she will check with Feng in her mind. She is certain that he can never beat her enemy. Meanwhile, Feng and Duan stroll along chatting. When she calls out, Feng asks if she wanted to talk. She says yes. Duan calls him boss, which makes Feng flinch. The teacher looks confused, and Feng quickly says don't mind it. Don is just joking. Chi suddenly asks Feng if he has finished his first transformation. He freezes. He did not plan to hide forever. But wow, that was fast. Still, he trusts she more than most. So he admits yes, and says he wants only a few people to know. She follows up with another question, asking if he has been touched by the power of darkness. Feng almost chokes. He wonders how she guessed, but she explains the world is shifting, Secret realms are leaking into reality, and people are mutating. Frank says he is fine, not a mutant, and really not looking to join that club. She pulls out a crystal detector, asking him to inject energy so they can check his darkness levels. It's basically a fantasy drug test, and Feng's sweating bullets. He touches the crystal, and the damn thing just explodes. As soon as he touches it, she starts trembling, remembering her conversation with Jing, where Jing explained it was a black crystal, highly sensitive to darkness power, frequently used by the government to detect mutants. When there's darkness power, the crystal vibrates. The stronger the vibrations, the greater the amount of darkness power. Looking at the shattered crystal in her hand, she wonders what it means for it to explode like that. Fong starts explaining how awakening and immediately changing class is weird as hell, but he's pulling "you've known me forever" card, asking Chai to at least believe he's not completely insane. She's sitting there, thinking about how this kid lost his parents young, awakened later than everyone else, and somehow still maintains his optimistic attitude. She explains that personally she trusts him, but protocol-wise, she's got to report to her superiors. Fong gets it, but he's also thinking that, even though she says she trusts him, he has no clue how the authorities will react to his situation. His best bet here is to get the hell out of Chin. Chi whips out some glowing item, making Fong ask what it was. She explains it's a congratulatory gift for successfully completing his first class change. Fong accepts it gratefully, thanking her for all the years she took care of him. But Fong's got his own present. He pulls out the sacred wings of legendary quality, basically a godlike item with plus 20 spirit points, 50% better healing, and 100% darkness resistance. The no-chant effect alone could save lives in critical moments. Cállese, Jodrops, because this thing is incredibly valuable. But Fong insists it's just random loot from his class change mission, telling her to accept it without being shy. After handing it over, Fong bounces, saying his friend's waiting. The teacher watches him leave, probably wondering what the hell just happened. Chai heads to report everything to the adventurer examiner's office. After explaining the whole situation, Jing stares at the crystal, saying she's never seen anything like this. When she asks if the superiors might consider Fong a threat, Jing just sighs and says to drop it entirely. She's confused, asking what she means. Jing drops some wisdom. The kid's probably beyond their understanding, and if he's genuinely powerful, they should be recruiting him instead of investigating him and pissing him off unnecessarily. When asked about reporting it, Jing says absolutely not. Stop the investigation immediately and keep everything classified. Meanwhile, back at Feng's place, Nua notices his boss looks depressed. Feng slumps on the couch, explaining that the teacher messaged about canceling the investigation. When Duan asks if that's good news, Feng is worried about future training, since every time he destroys a domain, it attracts too much attention. Duan's thinking that being a great leader comes with problems regular people can't imagine. Then he gets an idea. What about training in unregistered domains? Fong perks up immediately. Duan explains that with all the world changes, new domains are appearing everywhere. Some unmanaged due to lack of resources, others occupied by evil forces. Fong gets excited, asking if Duan has intel on these domains. Dwayne confirms he's got information on two, and can find more if needed. So now, our boy is thinking of acting like an ordinary person, which beats playing student, buying his supreme black card, and planning to sell his loot later that night. Duan quickly returns to the hotel, thinking he spent too much time at Feng's house and didn't have time to look for another place to sleep. So he decides to stay another night there. Upon entering, he's greeted by a man in a suit who introduces himself as James G., the mayor of Chinga City. The mayor thanks him for helping during the domain invasion and asks if Duan is interested in living in Chinga City permanently. Duan responds yes, saying he's been thinking about it lately. The mayor didn't waste a second. He handed him a special adventurer certificate. With high privileges, he makes it clear that if Duan ever needs anything in the future, just let them know and they'll do their best to help. In his mind, he is thinking how lucky he is, because he knows that other cities tried to recruit Duan before, but were all rejected. Shanghai City is small, so he hopes Duan won't look down on it. Duan accepts the certificate, thinking Fong might find it useful later. The satisfied mayor imagines having a 4 transformation powerhouse makes the city much safer. Trying to gain favor, he asks if Duan is looking for a place to stay. If he is, he'll arrange one immediately. Meanwhile, our boy is crushing his game late at night when he checks the class group chat. That's still blowing up. His classmates are stressing about awakening at 16 and needing advancement levels for university entrance exams. Meanwhile, our boys already surpassed them all. They start mentioning his name, saying he's just playing around. Probably some Miss Wong simp stalking his socials. Teacher Chi swoops in, telling everyone to mind their own business. But then, people start talking about secret realm invasions, and everyone's getting paranoid. Fong remembers what Teacher Chi and Duan said about world changes. Plus that time, he fought invasion monsters. And some escaped in the distortion world. A boss randomly sneezes, he has this weird feeling. The next day, at Chung Trading Exchange, Shin's back at work, after getting wrecked by distortion monsters. Her colleagues are like, "Why are you here, still beat up?" But Shin acts tough then. The colleague starts gossiping that Feng's a reckless thief who messed with this big shot, and Shin starts defending him. The other girl told her that Mr. Wong investigated Feng's background and found out he's just an 18-year-old nobody with a 1-star job whose parents died early, basically broke as hell, with no way to get high-class items. So if he's not a thief, what else could he be? That's when Feng shows up and creates a stone spike in front of the gossiping creature, making her fall on her ass. He apologizes but says she was too insolent and almost made him lose control. She freaks out, yelling for guards, because magic inside the trading exchange is apparently illegal. Shin tries getting him to leave, since the exchange has massive influence, and regular people can't afford to piss them off. But Feng's not worried. Guards show up, with Chief Wong, asking how this nobody dared show his face. Wong says they're investigating if he's a thief, and orders guards to grab him, since he has no right to ask questions. That's when Fong whips out this Black Supreme card, asking if this is how they treat clients. Everyone freezes, stunned as hell, wondering how this Fong and nobody got it. Wong assumes it's fake, because there's no way this broke kid could get his hands on something so rare. Our boy just puts the card away and tells them to investigate it, since they're so good at that. Wayne calls to verify while a crowd gathers outside, so he calls the mayor and Doming, asks if someone was investigating the card he gave Fong. Wong starts sweating bullets, trying to explain it's a misunderstanding, because the mayor's father is one of the trading exchange founders. Dong Mei starts yelling, asking what misunderstanding, saying Fong is someone important. He asks if Wong offended Fong, and Wong is scrambling, saying he didn't and will resolve everything. The mayor gets furious, slamming tables, suspecting Wong did offend Fong, and says he's coming over immediately. Wong finishes the call crying, wondering how the hell Fong met Daoming and what their relationship is. But then he gets an idea about calling Duan, since they found the fighter's set, thinking if Duan comes for a confrontation, even Daoming will have to respect him. So Feng's chilling in the waiting room with Shin, when suddenly the mayor and Duan come running in. Shin's shocked, because apparently these big shots know our boy. Both of them are pissed and staring down at that gossipy creature. Now that bitch is terrified and asking why they're looking at her like that. She turns around and sees Wong, looking completely defeated, and asks what happened, but he can only say it's all over. Doming asks Fong if he wants them to apologize, but our boy says it's unnecessary, since they wouldn't mean it anyway, and can't redeem themselves. The mayor points at Wong and his colleague, telling them to get lost immediately. Wong slaps the woman, saying this is all her fault, which makes Damin even more pissed, and has guards remove them. They head to a VIP room where Shin serves tea. The mayor is watching her, thinking Fong has good taste, and feeling relieved they didn't completely ruin the trading exchange's reputation. Shin's amazed that Fong's just casually chatting with these important people. Like it's nothing. Doming tells Shin she was wrong and to work hard because the trading exchange will compensate her. She's embarrassed but grateful. Fong apologizes to the mayor for making him come from far away. But Doming says Feng's problems are his problems too. Without him, Longgu City could have been left defenseless. Then Daoming asks if Fong needs something, since he noticed him looking at rare items. Fong laughs and asks if he's heard of something called the Relic of the End. Both Daoming and Duan are surprised and intrigued. Fong acts like it's nothing, saying he saw someone mention it online and thought it might be interesting. We get a flashback to Fong using that skill book he got from his teacher. It is used by mages to temporarily replenish mana. In combat, he learns it and gets a system notification about a passive skill called Darkness Convergence that absorbs residual dark energy from the Relic of the End and transforms it into his own energy. But our boy has never heard of this Relic of the End before, and the system doesn't explain what it is. He's tired and sleepy, so decides to deal with it later. Back to the present. Doming says it was a rushed departure last time and invites them to Long Bus City, covering all expenses. He grabs a flying scroll and takes off. While they watch him fly away, Duan invites Fong to eat at his place. Fong's shocked by the house size, asking if the mayor really pays for it. Yuan explains, anyone above the 4th transformation level gets special treatment in Chinga City, and asks if Fong wants to move there. Our boy says he'll make money and buy his own house, so they'll be neighbors soon. Duan offers to lend money, but Fong refuses, thinking about all those crystals he got from selling equipment, though he realizes if he buys a house now, he'll have fewer crystals for later. So he decides to wait. They're enjoying tea when Duan gets a call from Qingyu City's mayor. Turns out there's an investigation team from higher up looking into the recent disasters, and they want information from Duan. He's worried this might affect Fong, so tells the mayor he's busy today. Fong asks what this investigation group is, since he's never heard of them. Meanwhile, elsewhere, this weird dude shows up saying the city is strange because they're talking about a mysterious great boss. The scene shifts to the meeting room with all these important people, trying to figure out who this mysterious great boss is. Jing says she doesn't know anything, but the big dude from earlier is getting suspicious, asking why there are rumors about this boss saving the city. She explains the secret area invasions suddenly stopped, and all the mutants got eliminated, which sounds pretty convenient if you ask me. But this dude isn't having it. He says this whole thing is stupid. They can't just go around assuming stuff without investigating properly. He mentions there was another accident with 2 king-level attacks and wants to know what exactly this mysterious boss did. Meanwhile, Chai is sweating bullets. She is thinking about how Jing used her power to modify all information related to Fong to protect him. So now all the blame is falling on her. Mayor James bursts in saying he called Duan, but the guy's too busy to attend the meeting. That bastard loses his mind, slamming his hands on the table. He says that he hates these out-of-control adventurers who act like they own the world just because they don't have a guild, keeping them in check after the meeting. He heads to the secret area. The guards let him through no problem, saying they feel safer with him there. Poor guys have no idea. They just let a psycho into a restricted zone. Once inside, he's checking out all the dark energy traces, impressed by the level of destruction, and wondering what kind of force could completely wreck a secret area like this. He's getting all excited about the pure and powerful residual dark energy, saying even a mysterious great boss would be like an ant before an elephant. Compared to this power, then this maniac raises his hand and summons a sinister demon right in front of him. Like he's controlling it, he starts laughing, saying it's king level and filled with powerful energy that he wants all for himself. Yet this guy's definitely the villain, folks. Meanwhile, Fang's at Duan's place, still playing his game and complaining to the system, when suddenly an alert pops up, saying the Relic of the End has been found. He's surprised and realizes something's forming a connection with him through some kind of aura. If he focuses, he can actually locate its position. Fong grabs his shirt and tells Duan he's going out for a while, asking him to finish his game. He hails a taxi and checks GPS. Figuring the energy is coming from near the cemetery, he realizes through their connection that whatever is moving around at the cemetery entrance. Guards spot the demon emerging from the portal and radio their superiors about an unknown monster. They're trembling, asking what the hell that thing is. Folks, that idiot just went ahead and fused himself with the monster. They're calling for help because they can't even move due to the monster alert. They set up blockades to prevent accidents. Guards tell everyone to stop because of danger ahead. The taxi driver tells Fong they can't pass the blockade, so our boy just pays and gets out, saying it's fine. He notices the thing moved away temporarily, probably because it sensed him coming. Then, Jing shows up with Professor Chi and another person, charging toward the monster. But they stop horrified, asking what the hell is happening. So after the battle at the sinister cemetery, Jing's lying there all beat up in Chi's arms, while she's trying to heal her. She can barely speak because of her injuries. Professor Chi's thinking the equipment Fong gave her help reduce cooldown time for support spells, but the situation still critical, since even someone as strong as Jing couldn't stop this creature. Jing was trembling, asking where the creature went. Chai explains it's headed toward the city center. But Mayor Jing already called Duan for help, though who knows how long that'll take. Jing realizes Duan's about as strong as her, so alone he won't be a match for this thing. The creature's tearing up the city when Fong arrives. Looking pissed, he notices the final relic has grown much larger, and the demonic creature staring at him like a wild beast. Feng's wondering if he needs other forbidden spells to take it down. But the creature doesn't wait and jumps at his head with everything it's got. Our boy stays perfectly still until the last second, then uses his dark shield to block the attack. The creature is confused, wondering how this is even possible, and where Fong got such incredible power. That's when the system pops up, asking if he wants to absorb the final relic. Fong doesn't hesitate, he needs close physical contact, so he releases terrible power toward the creature and absorbs it while it screams. Through absorption, he gets memory fragments and gains 100 total attributes. Fong's pleased because even 3-star classes don't get this many skill points from leveling from 0 to 3rd transformation. But he's concerned because he absorbed something extra and is seeing weird images in his head. Duan shows up asking what happened. Fong casually gestures at the monster, saying it appeared out of nowhere. So he killed it immediately. Duan sees Banji and knocked out on the ground, figuring Fong handled him too. He's confused by the chaotic scene, thinking these might be evil sect members, and can't explain the weird energy around them, since it doesn't look like spell damage. Fong pads doing shoulder, asking him to handle the aftermath, since he arrived just in time. Then he flies off at full speed, leaving Duan amazed at his speed, wondering if he's really a mage, since that speed surpasses many combat classes. Later at Tinju Prison, Benji is locked up after confessing he tried controlling the creature. Jing explains he discovered it in a secret dimension and managed to control dark power for himself. He injected dark power into the secret dimension during his investigation, but the creature went out of control. The mayor is pleased to saying, "It's great they have this mysterious great boss maintaining city security." Jing and Professor Chi smiled, because her student is doing excellent work. The mayor asked Duan if he's met this great boss. Duan says yeah. He was lucky enough to encounter him once. Surprising the two beauties, Mayor Zhang asked Duan for a favor. If the mysterious great boss is willing to settle permanently in Chinu City, they'll meet all his needs. Duan explains, the great boss is discreet and rarely shows up, so better forget that idea. So do. Once, thinking about how he managed to shift everything onto this mysterious great boss, who doesn't even exist without evidence. They can't investigate anything. The mayor's bummed, saying it's a pity, because strong people, like the great boss, get admired by everyone. Duan tells them, the mysterious great boss has relatives in Xinyu, so he'll take special care of the place, but in return doesn't want to be disturbed. Jing's intrigued, but gets it in the end. Professor Chi's wondering if maybe the great boss is related to Feng somehow. Back at Feng's place, he's taking a bath, thinking about how the final relic is actually remains from demon kings who died in secret dimensions. Those weird images he saw earlier are memory fragments from when the demon kings were alive that got absorbed with the relic. He's not interested in becoming a demon king himself, so wondering what these fragments are even for, but that he realizes they might actually be useful under all this dark power accumulation. Secret dimensions go through strengthening periods. If the invaded time and space can't handle it, the world faces chaos in their current reality. The awakened training path isn't complete, with only a few reaching the 4th level. And awakened professions haven't reached ideal forms. Yet the info from the Demon King's memories doesn't look good if things keep going this way. Humanity's screwed, even if he protects himself. He can't live in a world full of monsters. But luckily, they're not the only ones dealing with secret dimension invasions. Some other realities manage to fight them off successfully if you can collect more fragments and pick out useful experiences. It'll be super effective, though these experiences are beyond current knowledge, and improper handling could cause unpredictable consequences. His phone rings and it's you, asking him to dinner that evening because they're celebrating. She completed her S-class mission and finished transitioning to the Vanguard. Shadow Class Ben accepts immediately, saying how could he refuse her invitation, which makes her happy. She sends in a location immediately after sending it. Yua and Joel leave the transformation area, where guild friends are waiting with confetti, congratulating them for reaching the 2nd level. People are amazed they reached the 2nd level so young. Chow invites you to dinner at the best restaurant, but she says she already has plans, asking them to go without her. She announces she'll host an event tomorrow and wants everyone there. Xiao asked if they shouldn't rest after working so hard, but Yua says it's important and can't be postponed. She leaves while everyone watches. Xiao gets irritated, saying they barely reached the 2nd level and are already having disagreements. She tries calming him down, saying that's just how you are, is she must have something important. Xiao asks if everyone's tired of chasing after her, which surprises them. Joe explains that now she's completed the S-class transition and awakened a new hidden class. The gap between her and everyone else will only grow. She was shocked as they watch you walk away. Joe says he fears one day she'll completely leave the guild. The nightfall hits, and Fang's at the restaurant with you for their celebration dinner. He's going crazy over the roasted lamb, saying the place isn't expensive, but all the food's delicious and telling her to try it. He's saying being there was only possible because he followed her. Yua thanks him for giving her the emblem, because it helped her a lot. While he's devouring his lamb, he gets curious and asks if the emblem activated a new hidden class, is thinking about those demon king memories and how they awakened, and their professions in that reality hadn't reached ideal form yet, is wondering if emblems are one way to achieve that state. You asked if he knows where those emblems came from. Fong laughs, saying he's not really sure. She gets frustrated hearing that, saying it would be great if they could buy them, since she'd give one to him and other team members. He's happy thinking his friend's still the same. Whenever something good happens, she considers his interests too. He tells him not to worry. She'll handle the emblem issue and ask him not to give up training, since having extra self-defense skills is useful in dangerous times. She says once she finds an appropriate emblem for him, he might activate a new class too. Fong starts teasing her, saying it's hard to train alone, and having her as a friend to protect him is enough. She gets shocked, telling him to stop joking, since she's talking serious business. Then she suddenly feels uncomfortable pain. Fong gets concerned, asking what happened. She puts her hand on her arm, saying not to worry. She got slightly injured completing a mission. He offers to heal her, but she says she's already been healed. It was an S-class mission, where the boss dealt tons of damage, and she needs time to recover. Fang's wondering how difficult S-class professions are. His phone rings, someone asks if he's named Fong, but he doesn't answer, just asks what they want and who they are. The caller has an aggressive tone, saying he doesn't need to know who he is. Just answer where he got the emblem. Fong gets fed up and hangs up on the guy. You notice he's stressed and asks what happened. He says the caller asked where the emblem came from. She's startled, saying she didn't tell anyone outside about the emblem. Fong just picks up his lamb, telling her to let it go and eat in peace. But the guy still hasn't hung up. Fong picks up again, hearing the guy shouting, asking how he dared leave him, talking to himself, and saying he'll pay for what he did, and listens for the nonsense. Then gets serious, thinking he was nearby, so better not to draw attention, and hangs up immediately after eating and chatting. They leave the restaurant happy. Fang's holding his stomach, saying he's too full and has never eaten such good lamb. He's happy hearing that, but gets concerned, asking if you want a ride. He smiles, saying it's not necessary, and says goodbye back home. He opens the door, feeling drowsy from eating too much, but gets startled, seeing his house ransacked and completely messy. Someone calmly approaches, asking why he took so long. Fong gets serious, asking if it was him who called earlier. Blondie starts laughing, saying yes, and that he told Fong he'd pay. Says if he'd answered honestly from the start, none of this would be happening. Fong asks who sent him. Blondie lets out a wicked laugh, asking how a mere lowly awakened dares speak that way, asking if he didn't have a t-shirt, to show proper respect to stronger ones. Man, this is about to get ugly real quick. Before our boy could even think about kicking ass, another dude tried sneaking up behind him. But Fang's reflexes are insane. He dodges and counters with an elbow strike to the guy's nose, making him drop his dagger. The attacker slides down the wall. Knocked out cold now, Blondie is terrified, wondering what the hell just happened. Fong starts laughing, telling him to show some respect and calm down. Blondie is sweating bullets, realizing that he messed up, and the intel was clearly wrong. There is no way Fong was just a 1-star nobody. He's wondering how a 3-star assassin got wrecked by a mage using bare hands. While he's freaking out, he grabs a shuriken and notices Fong has over 100 points in all stats, with crazy reaction speed and range improvements. Fong realizes he can handle situations easily. Without even using magic, Blondie throws a shuriken, but Fong dodges like it's nothing. Seeing that reaction, Blondie decided to make a run for it, heading toward the balcony to escape and jumping off. But Fong grabs his leg, preventing escape, and slams his face hard into the wall. After that, Fong orders them to clean up the mess they made, shouting they'll have to pay for the broken cabinet too. After cleaning everything, Blondie says they finished and all their belongings, including clothes, are on the table. Fong crosses his arms, saying that's fine, but he wants to know who sent them. With his face all battered, Blondie explains it was Master Jo Chong of the Lion Guild. Says Fong has a special emblem that's unique and can't be found anywhere else. So Joe hired them to gather info about it. Fong gets intrigued, wondering if your Chong is the same mage from Yu's guild. If so, it wouldn't be surprising he pulled this crap. Then he gets excited with his sinister expression, thinking he won't be gentle, since he still has a forbidden spell he hasn't used yet. Fong activates this ability, called Soul Seizing Darkness, using mental strength to control minds and briefly transform into a powerful projection. He targets the 2 thugs, making them scream in pain. Meanwhile, that bastard Geo and the shield warrior are walking and talking. The warrior asks about the emblem, and Geo says with a serious look that he already sent someone to find Fong, and if he doesn't cooperate, he'll make him experience a fate worse than death. The warrior is startled, asking what happens if he finds out. Joe says he can't worry about that. The warrior mentions it's a shame the mission didn't go as planned. Joe starts remembering how originally he let the shield warrior face the boss, to diminish Yu as momentum and scare her. Then he'd step in as a heroic savior. But he never imagined she'd risk her life and defeat the boss herself. Suddenly, someone appears out of nowhere. Joe sees it's the guy he sent to gather info on Fong and gets angry immediately. And if he managed to get the requested information, Fong, who is possessing Boldly's body, is pissed off about you getting hurt. The 2 idiots who did are standing there, all surprised, when he asks if they're the ones responsible. But then, this Geo guy comes over and pats Blondie's face, telling him not to interfere. Our boy Fang goes full demon mode, grabs both their necks and lifts them off the ground. He's telling them they don't deserve to live for hurting you. But he's not going to let them die easily either. Then black flames everywhere. These aren't your regular barbecue flames, folks. These are the special burn you from the inside out, until you're nothing but ashes kind. Here's the thing. Fong realizes he's got to burn the blonde guy's body, to get rid of all the evidence. Smart move, no witnesses means no problems, except now he's thinking his regular neighborhood isn't exactly the safest place anymore. Since High Level awakened, people can just walk in and out whenever they want, and he can't exactly camp at home. 24/7's playing security guard. He was planning to dive into those Demon King memories for some juicy intel, but luckily hadn't started yet. Getting caught by awakened folks while doing that would have been a disaster and a half. So Fong decides to crash at Duan's place instead. This guy's fourth transformation awakened, so he's pretty strong. Plus, his neighborhood has better security than a government facility. When Fong explains what happened, Duan gets absolutely furious. He's telling Fong to rest while he investigates, to see if there are more conspirators out there. Attacking Fong directly was basically asking for a death sentence. But Fong tells him to chill and asks if he knows any reliable alchemists. Duan's confused about what criteria he wants. Fong explains he needs someone high level, trustworthy, and preferably independent, with as few connections as possible. Duan knows some good alchemists, but they're all in big guilds already. It's a no-go for Fong, because from the Demon King's memories, he knows those guild alchemists had produced some seriously superior potions. Unfortunately, he only got the recipes, not the know-how, so he needs a professional to break it down for him. Plus guild alchimistes are basically walking information leaks, waiting to happen. Then Fong calls you asking about alchemists. She knows exactly one reliable guy, and it's Xiu's brother. Apparently, he was thinking about joining her guild, but couldn't get along with Jiao Chuan. So the deal fell through Fang's thinking his friend. You really had the worst luck, getting stuck with Jia as a teammate. But hey, at least that problem's solved now, since Jia won't be causing any more trouble. When you ask why he needs an alchemist, Fong says he found some recipes at home and needs help understanding them. She's getting suspicious, asking if he found something at home again. Our boy just laughs, saying he's been doing some serious spring cleaning lately. So they meet up with this Shui guy, and Fong shows him the recipes. Outside, Xiu is throwing a tantrum. Apparently, she wanted to use this opportunity to get closer to Fong, but that four-eyed idiot kicked her out. The alchemist examines the recipes and says the ingredients aren't special, but the preparation method is completely new to him and looks complicated as hell. When Fong mentions it's supposed to increase experience by 100%, Shui's jaw drops. Regular experience potions on the market only boost by 40% max, and they cost a fortune. A 100% boost would have own, and 2-star awakened folks leveling up like crazy. Fong just smiles, saying probably yeah, but he's not sure, and can't exactly go around asking people about it. That's why he needs professional help to figure this out. So Shui tells Fong to wait a minute, because he's heading upstairs to run some experiments. The three of them are just chilling and talking, when suddenly they hear this weird noise from above. Everyone's getting concerned, wondering what the hell is happening up there. Tu decides to investigate and climbs the stairs. She gets up there and sees something jumping around. Turns out it's her brother's experimental slime. Just as you and Fong come up to check it out, a burst of flame shoots right in front of them. Everyone's standing there like, what the actual hell just happened? They rush over and find out that it's that idiot, For Eyes, who was celebrating. Shui's absolutely thrilled, saying the potion actually worked, and leaving the girls completely confused. Explains that he drank a bit of the prepared potion and tested it on the slime. The experience boost is legit 100%. Fang's thinking if this recipe works, then the others definitely will too. Meanwhile, Shu is having the time of his life, throwing more fireballs at the slime. His sister explains that he's so obsessed with his lab, he never lets her go upstairs. And now he's basically destroying everything himself. After Fong explains the potion recipe to the girls, they're going absolutely crazy, asking if it really boosts experience by 100%. Phone confirms it, but the alchemist tells them to keep quiet, because this stuff needs extreme confidentiality. No kidding, this is basically liquid gold. Shu Wei asks Feng what his next move is, because if he sells this, he'll make an unimaginable fortune. Right now, everything's dangerous, and nobody's going to refuse, something that increases their strength. But then Feng's phone buzzes with a message. It's from Shai and their class group, saying, the school is planning to take all third-year students to some secret location in the neighboring city for training next Monday, since space is limited. Each class gets different times and areas. The teacher's asking everyone to prepare and cooperate actively after the announcement. Everyone starts sending worried messages about experience being scarce, not enough space for everyone, and no experience potions available. Feng reads all this and starts thinking about what to do. Then he gets an idea. He'll use the experience potions on his companions first, then sell them to others later. Shu asks if she's considered one of his companions. When Feng says yes, she gets super excited, saying that she and you will be his bodyguards in the future. But Feng's still thinking strategically. He knows that once such a sought-after item hits the market, it's going to cause massive impact and profit opportunities. The problem is Rudy flies like Joe. Trump types will probably swarm in large numbers. To keep things peaceful, it's better to first strengthen the people around him to support his power base. Because when someone shows up with bad intentions, that's when it'll be time to act. Feng remembers the Berserker guy from their guild. And just for your info, this dude is named Zhou Jiangshu, who's apparently stressed about getting into university. Man, even in fantasy worlds, these kids are worried about college applications. Feng's thinking, this guy is pretty talented and could be useful. Then we get Shuai coming up to Feng, asking if he can call him brother, and begging for more recipes. Feng hands over another recipe, and Four Eyes starts reading it and freaks out. Poor guy only recognizes 2 ingredients, and realizes he's way out of his league. Feng's having that light bulb moment, alright. These are recipes from a different world. No wonder they're confused. You suggest they all train together once. The experience potions already impacts Feng on the shoulder, telling him he should come too. Our boy immediately starts panicking and playing dumb, because he knows he's about to get exposed as a fraud. But she told him that the city just sent out a notice, allowing guild teams to go train, so he can tag along legally. They schedule it for Monday. After Shuai calculates, they'll need that long to make enough potions for everyone. Fast forward to Monday, and Feng's already at the meeting. He calls you saying he's arrived, and she tells him to wait by the roadside. Then a school bus rolls by with his classmates inside, and they spot him standing there like, wait, is that really that loser named Feng? They start laughing and mocking him, calling him useless, then decide he's not even worth talking about. Meanwhile, there's a crowd at the entrance to this secret training area. Feng's class shows up too, and some student asks their teacher Chad when they can enter. She says about 2 hours, because they're in the second group. The students start whining, asking do we really have to wait that long? But then one of them spots Feng up ahead with you and her lion guild, and they lose their minds. A student asks Professor Chi why Feng's group gets to skip the line, and she explains that since he's the guild leader, they're probably heading straight to the heart of the secret area where there are fewer people, but way more dangerous monsters. This background character, I'm not going to bother with the alphabet, gets absolutely furious, saying he should be the one standing next to the goddess, while his friends are like, how does Feng dare go to the heart? Any small monster there could easily kill him. Then some random person shows up, asking if they're talking about Wang Yu, who's ranked 5th on the supernova lists. The sweating student confirms it, and this person gets all excited, saying great. They're heading to the right place, before walking toward the portal, with 2 other people also skipping the line. The students are losing it again, asking why these guys also get special treatment. That's when the girl explains. These 3 are all rising stars on the supernova list. Shang Mu Chu ranked 4th, Musclehead Gi Qi 3rd, and Gu Yuan Ju 2nd. So Feng's crew finally reaches the center of the secret training area, and Shu Wei immediately tosses an experienced potion to Jiang Shu. The Berserker goes absolutely nuts when he realizes it's a 100% boost potion. Dude's practically screaming with joy, until Su smacks him telling him to keep it down. Can't have everyone knowing about their cheat codes. Right? Jiang Su asks if the potion's valuable, and Four Eyes explains it's not actually that hard to make, since the ingredients aren't rare, and the process isn't complex. But that's exactly what makes the recipe so precious. Low cost, high reward. He even says with just this one recipe, Feng could become an honorary guest to any major guild. Everyone's getting all emotional, with Jiang Shu pounding his chest, promising Feng he'll help him with anything in the future. Our boy's laughing awkwardly like, hey, we're all teammates here, no need to get formal. Meanwhile, he's watching from the sidelines, thinking about how Feng's never been good at socializing, especially after his awakening failure at 16. She's remembering how people mocked him at school, making him even more withdrawn. But seeing him happy and talking with friends for once makes her feel good. Like maybe he can finally recover from all that trauma. Yu clears her throat to get everyone's attention and lays out the battle plan. Since they don't have a proper tank or magic DPs, she tells Feng he doesn't need to do anything, so he won't draw monster attention. She'll attract the monsters. Jiang Shu will deal damage. Su handles buffs and protection, and Shu Wei throws potions as needed. Everyone agrees, but Feng's internally frustrated, because this setup will slow his progress significantly. Still, he decides to cooperate out of respect, thinking he can always use his forbidden curses later. When he's alone, the action kicks off, with you grabbing her bow and shooting an arrow that creates a massive explosion, drawing all the monsters toward her. Shu buffs the Berserker, who slams the ground, sending a shock wave at the approaching monsters. Shu Wei starts chucking experience potions left and right, getting excited as his experience shoots up. He's thinking if this keeps up, he'll be able to make new potions soon. Both Xu and Jiang Shu are celebrating, thinking they might actually reach the second stage before entrance exams and get into top universities. With you, everything's going great, until they hear this weird noise from a nearby cave. And that's when the party crashers arrive. Oyanju lets out this sinister laugh and apologizes for interrupting, but says he couldn't help himself after hearing someone who hasn't even reached the second stage talking about getting into prestigious universities. Kashu and the Berserker are shocked, asking if these are really the top-ranked kids from the supernova lists. Go Hyunju is pleased they got recognized so quickly. Our crew's confused why these hotshots would even be here, since they're supposed to be from the Jinju area. Then Wenyu steps up, asking these national ranking kids what exactly they want. The star heroes were minding their own business, training when Yunjo rolls up with his crew. This dude straight up asks you if she wants to join their team. Suit and the Berserker are shocked, but Yu immediately shuts him down, saying she already has her own team. But Yunjo is not taking no for an answer. He gets all condescending, mentioning how her team has Geo Chum, who's ranked 14th on the supernova lists, and maybe he consider letting him join too. As a favor to her, the audacity of this guy. He's getting annoyed at being asked if she wasn't clear enough. She said no. That's when Yunju drops the actually, let me mansplain why you're wrong speech. He says news travels slowly in Chunyu. Monsters are getting harder. Universities are raising standards, and only elite teams get in now. Then he goes full villain mode, telling you she's destined to be powerful, but looking at her friends like these losers aren't. The disrespect is unreal, man. Then he drops some emo-ass line about weakness being the greatest sin, and you can practically see Yu's patience evaporating. She starts summing her bow because she's had enough, but this cocky bastard tells her not to get worked up, since she's a ranged DPS, and close combat isn't her thing. Shu, being the voice of reason, puts a hand on Yu's shoulder, suggesting they find another place to train. The whole guild turns to leave, but Feng stands there, thinking about how irritating Yen Zhao is, and wondering if Yu could actually beat him with her new class. That's when JK decides to join the fun. by stomping the ground like some angry gorilla and asking if Fong is Joe Chong. When Fong says no, JK laughs and tells him to get lost because he's nothing but useless. And that's when our boy finally snaps. The purse sucker tries to defend Fong, asking Jaiki not to be so disrespectful. But Jaiki's response is to throw a punch. Jiang Shu blocks it, but is shocked by the strength. This hit breaks several of his ribs and drops him to his knees. The poor guy's thinking Jaiki must be cruel as hell, while trying to tell Fong to back off, so he doesn't get dragged into this mess. Jackie's standing there like it's all useless, which just pisses off Jiang Shu more. The Berserker tries to power up his fists for a counterattack, but realizes Jackie's way too fast. He's about to take another devastating hit, with no way to block or dodge. Yu and Fexu are preparing to jump in, but they're too far away. Jackie's punch is about to connect with Jiang Shu's face when suddenly a hand appears out of nowhere, easily catching the attack. It's our boy Fong casually stopping what should have been a knockout punch. So everyone is there confused as hell, wondering how that spineless, good-for-nothing waste of space loser blocked a punch. But our boy doesn't care. He grabs Geki's fist and yanks him with so much force that the dude screams in pain, then wants him like he's throwing a baseball. Geki goes flying, crashes into a bunch of rocks that all collapse on top of him, completely burying the guy. Fong turns around with a sinister smile and calls Kai useless. Yang Zhao rushes to help his buddy, but completely forgets about Yu, who's been charging up her bow this whole time. This guy's hopping around, unable to believe he just got shot in the rear end. Shu Wang's dying laughing, because honestly, watching the cocky tank get taken down by a butt shot is peak comedy. Much is having an existential crisis. Watching all this go down, a mage just destroyed an unarmored berserker, and an archer nailed the tank at close range. She's wondering if this is all a dream, since these guys are supposed to be elite talent. Meanwhile, Feng's breathing hard, because he was trying to stay low-key, and now he's blown his cover completely. He tells Ji Xue to stop being useless and go heal the berserker, while she's patching up Jinxia. Feng asked him how he wants to deal with GK. The berserker says he doesn't know, but he'll follow Feng's orders, which surprises our boy. Feng tells Jiang Shu to go loot Jiki's equipment as compensation for all the disrespect. Yin Jiao loses his mind screaming about theft, but then suddenly there's Feng right in his face with that scary expression, asking you saying something. Yin Jiao immediately does a 180, offering his own equipment to calm things down. Feng gives him a hug and tells him he doesn't like problems. Young Zhou even thinks about revenge. They'll regret it. The former tough guy promises they won't do anything stupid. Muchu jumps in, offering her equipment too, handing it to Shu Wei. Feng calls her smart, then tells them all to go train somewhere else, leaving Muchu embarrassed and equipmentless. As they're walking away, Yu tells Feng she was planning to take him training, but never imagined he'd be this strong. He laughs, saying she knew he changed classes recently, but didn't want to draw attention. He gets frustrated with his secretive attitude, saying she won't ask more questions, since he never tells her anything anyway. Feng laughs again, telling her she understands him better than anyone. That's when she puts her hand on his shoulder and tells him that regardless of everything, she's really happy for him. He just smiles and gives her a thumbs up, while thanking her so. Shu Wang and Jiang Shu were asking Feng about his university and guild plans, and he's like, haven't thought about it yet. Smart move actually, because he knows that both places have strict management, and one slip-up could expose all his forbidden magic secrets. But then Feng gets hyped and suggests they go deeper into the secret area to level up faster. He's thinking even without his high-level magic, he can use attribute buffs and passive abilities to carry the team. The scene shifts in Fang's at Duan's place, complaining he only gained 1 level. After days of hard work, dude's been spoiled by his forbidden spell, power leveling, and now regular grinding won't work for him. He's thinking about how normal people like you take 2 years to reach level 60, and maybe he should just apply to a local university instead of stressing about the elite ones. Ben Fong has that millennial moment. If I'm stronger, but still have to work as hard as everyone else. What's the point? So he decides to be lazy for a few days, gaming with Duan, sleeping in and eating out, living his best slacker life, until reality comes calling. His phone rings and it's Shin, telling him about an upcoming auction with good items. The new Master Tang wants to know if he's interested. Feng's bored enough to say sure, and Shin promises to have the item list ready for him to review. Cut to the meeting where Master Tang Yukai introduces himself as an appraiser from some fancy trade exchange. He's being super humble, telling Fong not to be formal, but internally, he's thinking about how the mayor specifically told him to treat Fong like royalty. Shin hands over the auction list, and Fong starts scanning through it, looking thoughtful. Most of the major equipment potions are useless to him. Master Tang's getting nervous, watching Fong flip through everything so quickly, wondering if he underestimated this kid's standards. Then something catches Fong's eye, and his expression gets serious. Master Tang perks up, thinking Fong found something good. It's an experience potion with a 100% boost. Super rare, perfect for power leveling. But here's where things get sketchy. Fong goes quiet, remembering his conversation with Shu Wei about the recipe. Duan's also shocked seeing what it is, and even Master Tang notices something's off. Fong gets all serious and asks where they got the item. Master Tang awkwardly explains. It came from the Blue Sharp Guild, one of the 7 major guilds in the country, with serious power. And that's when Fong's detective brain kicks in. Either Shuai secretly sold the recipe to this guild, or these guys did something shady to get it. Fong asks if the guild mentioned where the potion came from. The Kai told our boy about a new place, called the Trial of the Gods. It can only be faced alone and is split into layers. Every 10 layers you get a reward. One of those rewards was the formula. Duan says it's his first time hearing of it, and wonders if this is another weird instance of change. He points out that usually, you have to register with the county office first. Fong starts thinking maybe Shuai ran into trouble, but he also feels this Trial of the Gods sounds amazing. Right then, a system message pops up and slaps him with a mission. Use the power of the trial for his own game, with a time limit of 60 days. And if he fails to do so, then he won't be doing anything else, because he'll be dead. But instead of being afraid, our boy is thrilled because this is the first real mission he has been given. He thanks Yukai, but says he will skip the auction this time. Yukai shrugs, but is secretly confused, since Fong is turning down the most wanted item of the day. Duan told him that he'll look into the matter. Fong says there is no way he is tagging along. After some messy research, Duan remembers the shiny badge Mayor Jiang gave him. He uses it to get in. The two see that the trial looks like a big tower. Duan explains that the Azure Sharp Guild owns the rights and outsiders cannot enter without them. Fong wonders if all the big guilds hog instances. This way, Fong goes to check out the trial site in person. He sees guild guards standing around, and guesses they post fake leaks online. To lure stronger players, he grins, thinking his stealth can sneak past them. One teleport later, he slips behind the guards, just when he feels clever. An explosion blows everyone sky high. At the control station, someone yells about the blast, and another says they must inform the president. Back home, Fong suddenly reappears on his bed, covered in blood and yelling. He cannot believe it. All he did was touch the entrance. A massive energy wave tore through his barrier. Then system messages start flooding in. 3% damage now, 7%. Soon it climbs all the way to 34%. Fakin stares at the screen, thinking great. Not only am I bleeding out, but even my cheat system is getting wrecked. So back at the instance area, we got people investigating the aftermath of whatever explosion just went down. A priest is healing the guards, while reporting to the president that everyone's physically fine. One guard wakes up calling for the president, and this guy turns out to be his Shu, president of the Azure Sharp Guild. The guard's like, I don't know what happened, but that trial door just exploded and I passed out. She was thinking this sounds familiar. They had reports of weird mutations in instances before. Then a mage suggests they use some special investigation magic, and Xiao agrees they don't have much choice. Then this mage uses a time reversal spell which, as the name suggests, basically lets them rewind time. and see what actually happened. The president's thinking how lucky they are that this secret realm has recording spells built in. But when they rewind the footage, everyone's jaws hit the floor. They witness some shadowy creature teleporting in. Then another deity shows up, calling this thing an evil god, and asking how it dares invade their territory. These two literal gods start fighting, and everyone watching is losing their minds. Hearing the term evil god, the other deity gets furious, saying the mysterious guy escaped again, and they need to find him before he destroys the world. The scene shifts and shoes, showing this footage to all the other guild presidents. Liu Ying-yun confirms. This is their first proof that deities actually exist, and based on the spells being cast, we're talking forbidden enchantment level magic. The legendary stuff arc from the Epic Guild. Asked if it's true, that completing trials gets you deity recognition, and Gifts Chu confirms it, but says they never expected actual gods to show up to the party. Then Yueling, who from the Chu and Shu Guild, says that those forbidden spells are strong enough to destroy deities, which is definitely not good news. Lu Union from Wangshu Guild basically says, if a god wants to destroy the world, they're all in serious trouble. But Wangbo from the Illuminati Guild has an idea. If they can get deity gifts from completing trials, maybe they can get forbidden enchantments to fight back. Zhang Yangyuan from a Blazing Guild thinks it's worth a shot. Meanwhile, Shu's getting suspicious, because all these guild presidents are suddenly very interested in his trial of the gods. He tells them they can all participate if they want, but makes it clear the creatures and objects, and they're extremely powerful, and none of them are strong enough to handle it with their current abilities. So we got all these guild leaders having an awkward silence moment, until Ing Jin asks Lao if he has any bright ideas. Lao's basically like, what ideas? You guys are supposed to be the skilled ones here. Then he gets upset, saying the only thing they care about is protecting themselves from mutants. And when his apprentice reported an anomaly in XINU, nobody gave a darn, but now, suddenly, they form investigation groups that cause more problems than they solve. Lao says how, if it wasn't for the mysterious big shot in XINU, they would have been guilty of harming innocent people. Yin Jin can't even look at this guy, telling him to calm down because his head's on fire. Again, you need to. Thinking about how Leo's dark power usage has made him worse, and he was supposed to be retired, Ing Jun gets serious and asks Leo to have his apprentice show the investigation video to the mysterious big shot of Chinyu, hoping this powerful guy might know something. Lao Sakastio Ats. If they only remembered his apprentice exists now. Injin bribes him with 2 crates of good wine and promises his apprentice will get a commendation, which finally gets Lo's attention. Cut to Fong at Duan's house staring at his system. There's a new mission called Don't Worry. It's something small, like a tiny little thing, with the goal of reaching the second transformation and repairing the system in 60 days. The penalty is, well, obviously very bad things, like something small. System's basically trolling him at this point. He walks to the living room and finds several people there with Duan. Lao stands up asking if he's named Feng, and after introductions we learned this old guy is the former head of Solitary Shadow and current director of adventure management. His apprentice, Miss Jing, is there too, responsible for Solitary Shadow in their province. Then Leo drops the ultimate troll question. He asks if Feng is the Scarlet Flame Death God, nearly giving our boy a scare, before laughing and saying he's joking. Feng's reading this guy's aura, thinking he's definitely one of the top 3 strongest people alive with tons of merits, from developing secret areas and dismantling evil groups. Lao presents Feng with 5 million crystals and 200 advanced experience potions as a college entrance exam gift, and Feng can't believe the amount. But then they get to business. Jing shows the video of the trial, where the deity calls someone an evil god. Feng's internal monologue is pure panic. How could a common student like me be an evil god? Then he remembers his mission title and gets furious at his system for calling this something small. The dude's having an existential crisis while trying to keep a poker face. He tells them he'll send the video to the mysterious Great Master and keep them updated as they're leaving. Feng realizes Jing was the woman from the transformation room earlier, thinking no wonder he got discovered so quickly. Outside, Lao tells Jing that Feng is exactly as described, good, polite, and sensible. The government wants to recruit him if possible. When Jing asks if her master thinks Feng and the mysterious great master are the same person, Lao's response is basically, does it matter if he wants to be a student? He's a student that's better for everyone. The old guy is playing 4D chess. Explaining that, giving 5 million crystals to a student is smart, regardless. If the student becomes the mysterious great master, that remember the kindness. Plus enemies are getting stronger, and nobody's qualified for the god's gifts. So, their best bet is having the mysterious great master as their ace in the hole. So Feng's sitting there with his coffee, having an existential crisis, thinking about how this system detected damage from some god investigating his whereabouts. This deity casually destroyed his absolute defense with one hit, meaning they've reached the forbidden magic level. Our boy's priority list just got real simple. Fix the system to block god searches and complete the trial mission without dying. He has to do one for more info from Old Lyle and learns the trial realm is basically a tower with unknown floors. The monsters inside are ridiculously overpowered compared to regular secret realms. And the current record holder is Shu from Asia. Sharp Guild at 42 floors. Feng's sweating, because if he triggers more forbidden magic, his cover will be blown, then he has a light bulb moment. The mission doesn't say he has to do it personally. Time to find a substitute. He asked Duan how many fours he could handle, and Duan estimates 35. Feng's thinking, since Shu was close to his 5th transformation, and stronger than Duan, but Duan's trustworthy. They'll send him with some special training. Cut to old Lao losing his mind when Jing tells him the mysterious great master wants to send someone to the trial and requested their training room. He's laughing because all 7 guild presidents just tried the trial yesterday and failed miserably. Even Liu Yingzhen, one of the strongest in the country, couldn't make it through. Jing's like, if you can't pass, who can? Old Leo gets so excited. His head literally catches fire like Ghost Rider, eager to see how far Duan can go with mysterious master training. His apprentice gets scared, watching those flames constantly burn away his life, wondering if there's any way to help him. The price of dark power is brutal. At the training facility, everyone's gathering to watch this show. Captain Ju was crying with relief, remembering when he was angry at Feng the first time. Thankfully, he didn't offend the guy who could have destroyed him. Jing explains, the training room can simulate combat environments, but only 4th transformation warriors and above can use it. When Jing connects Duan's information device, she's amazed he detailed even monster weaknesses, including floors that President Liu just cleared. Feng is smirking internally, because obviously he knows everything. The Demon King invaded that realm, so he just extracted the info from memory. Who better than the Demon King to know monster weaknesses? Then old Lao asks if they can watch, and Duan's cool with it. But then Lao asks with a sinister expression if the mysterious great master really said the evil god would destroy the world, scaring the hell out of Jing. So Duan's sitting there quiet for a moment, then remembers asking Feng at home if the evil god really wants to destroy the world. Feng's sweating bullets because Duan has no idea. He's literally talking to the so-called evil god. Our boy is having an internal debate about whether to come clean, but decides the risk of exposure is too high, even with someone he trusts. Duan tells old Lao that he asked the Feng the same question and got an 8-word answer. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, waiting to hear this wisdom. And Duan delivers, as long as I'm here. That won't happen. Old Lao starts laughing, saying it's simple, confident, and totally the boss's style. Meanwhile, Jing's sweating nervously, wondering what kind of person this boss is, that he doesn't even worry about gods, not having a clue that it's her dumbass student. Meanwhile, Feng's internally high, fiving himself for giving the perfect, non-suspicious answer. That makes him sound like a badass protector instead of the actual threat. The old man shakes Duan's hand saying the trial now depends on him. And they head to watch training. Cut to Duan getting absolutely demolished by monsters, thrown against walls, but getting back up to finish them off. He's exhausted, but determined not to disappoint Feng, thinking this is his unique opportunity. Jing's impressed that Duan handled monsters beyond fourth transformation limits, saying she definitely couldn't do it. But old Lao remembers how Feng awakened at 18, but completed the first transformation in just months. He's wondering if there's a miracle waiting for Du 1-2, thinking that mysterious big shot might break the combat system entirely. That's when reality hits Feng like a truck. He oversimplified everything, thinking monster weaknesses would be enough, forgetting humans have limits. Even knowing weak points doesn't matter if you can't reach them, or survive long enough to exploit them. Looking at exhausted Duan, he realizes if his friend fails, he'll have to do it himself with forbidden magic and risk total exposure. Feng makes excuses about school starting next week and leaves he's thinking he needs to level up and get powerful skills or equipment to replace what Duan's missing. So he pulls out a flight scroll in an alley, remembering he asked someone to buy a batch of these for teleportation without being tracked. He flies off to one of those wild secret realms. Du-1 mentioned that's not under official control yet, but when he arrives, there are signs of battle everywhere. But this idiot just goes, "Oh, this looks scary, let's just go and take a look." Meanwhile, there's this group of evil clan mutants, literally stepping on some poor adventurer's head. Near the entrance, the big guy asks his masked chief if he saw the flash nearby, and the chief figures is probably a flight scroll. These villains start wondering if whoever used the scroll is there to kill them, but the masked leader just laughs, saying this person's walking to their death. He says how they've been gathering sacrifices for the great demon king who's about to rise again. He says it's thanks to these clueless idiots that they have managed to sacrifice enough people for the demon lord to accumulate enough power. And today is the day he'll descend upon this world. The whole evil clan starts celebrating their evil plan, completely oblivious to what's coming. One of the dead adventurers still has a working communication device, and someone on the other end heard everything. This adventurer immediately panics about the Demon King's return and a secret realm invasion. The captain realizes their screw squad for about wiped out, the magical shield won't hold, and a secret realm invasion will corrupt the near city. He orders everyone to evacuate, while he stays behind to monitor the situation, even though it's basically a suicide mission. Then we get this heartbreaking moment where the captain calls his daughter about a possible emergency drill, trying not to scare her. She calls back just to say happy birthday to him, and the poor guy starts crying, because this might be the last time he talks to her. On their way back, his team notices dark energy echoing and realizes the invasion starting, worried about leaving their captain. Meanwhile, the evil clan is getting hyped, thinking the Demon King's about to bless them with more power. But here's where it gets hilarious. Inside the secret realm, FANK just casually uses extreme cold, forbidden magic, and froze everything solid. This skill apparently summons an infinite ice disaster that sweeps through worlds. So now he's walking around smashing ice coffins, having the best time of his life, while being happy that these monsters give great experience. And he just hit level 37. One of the monsters he casually froze was the Demon King. Everyone's been waiting for the evil clans outside, celebrating their king's return, while their great Demon King is currently a popsicle, thanks to our oblivious protagonist Fangs, just browsing his system for new skills, completely unaware that he just accidentally saved his city and ruined some villain's entire master plan. And his system window pops up, saying he could choose a new skill outside the portal. Something starts emerging from the portal, and the entire evil clan drops to their knees, expecting the great Demon King. But out walks Fong, with his usual clueless expression, and that stupid face of his. And everyone just stares at each other. Fong is like, what the hell is happening here? While the clan leader's freaking out, wondering where his Demon King is. Well, the poor guy is complaining about being stuck in ice. If you guys are curious, the leader looks at Fang's beginner equipment, thinking there's no way this noob could be related to the Demon King. He figures maybe Fang's an opportunist, trying to ally with the Demon King, but got scared by the dark energy. So he shouts, asking if Fang's there to join them. Our boy just says, nope, none of your business, because he literally has no clue what's going on. The leader gets pissed and introduces himself as Gua, an 11 wanted criminal with over 100 kills. Fang couldn't care less, and tells them to either fight or get lost. The whole clan starts threatening him, until suddenly the area gets dark and this terrifying, malevolent face appears above them, scaring the hell out of everyone. That's when Fang decides to test his new forbidden spell called Sorrow of Abuse. This ability traps people in an illusion realm and reveals all their weaknesses, so he can torture them precisely. It's absolutely sadistic but incredibly effective. He scans the clan leader and discovers he has a shoulder injury from using inappropriate equipment, which reduces his strength, agility, and skill. Then Fang strikes that exact weak spot, and the guy screams in agony, not understanding what's happening to him. In the illusion world, Fang can repeatedly attack trapped enemies' weaknesses, like a demon playing with prey. He's thinking the ability might be sadistic, but it's perfect for exploiting enemy vulnerabilities. After the massacre, the captain finally heads up the mountain to check on the situation. He finds Gu and his entire crew completely eliminated. He's wondering how a wanted criminal, along with his subordinate, has been completely wiped out. This is crazy because to hunt down this guy, for adventurer teams have been sacrificed, but none of them succeeded. And now they are finding their bodies like this. So none of them wanted to believe it. His teammate asks him about the situation. Inside the secret realm, the captain steps inside the secret realm. Everything's frozen solid with no monsters alive. When his team asks about the Demon King, the captain reports it's been destroyed. He even approached the ice coffin to confirm. And when it fell, no items dropped and he got no experience. Maybe the boss was already dead when he found it. Bro was terrified even in death. His team asks if the secret realm invasion is still happening, if the Demon King is dead. And the captain just stares at the dead Demon King, thinking to himself, don't ask me, dude. I'm freaked out as his phone gets back to Duan's place and calls him to come home from training. Poor Duan shows up saying he's stuck at level 45 and feels like he's disappointed. Phone, but our boy is actually cool with it, telling Duan the real goal was just understanding the trial situation. He promises some intense training next week, which gets Duan all excited, asking what he wants for dinner before running off. Fang's just watching his friend's enthusiasm and sits down in the game. That's when he gets the most unexpected message ever. Old man Lao asking to play together and claiming he's great as a level 6 tank. Apparently, Fang's like, did someone hack this guy's account? Until he gets an audio message confirming it's really him. Turns out the old flamehead plays with his grandson, who's busy with entrance exams. A team up with a match, and Lao suggests Fong could play with his grandson sometime, since they're the same age. Fong agrees, thinking this relationship could be useful for his future plans. Then, Lao drops some intel about 3 major universities, organizing a training camp to select students, with 2 spots still available. Fong realizes that while forbidden spells are powerful, if he has to fight gods without combat experience, he's screwed, so he accepts the offer, and Lao reserves both spots, in case Fong wants to bring a teammate. Looking at his grandson's picture, old Lao says you two have a lot in common. Who knows, you might even become good friends. The scene shifts to school, where everyone's complaining about raised university standards, and how even current students are failing assessments. One classmate gets salty, pointing at sleeping Fong and asking if 3-star awakened people are the same as lower ranks. Then teacher Chi announces a new student, and all the boys immediately lose their minds when Chai Mu-chu walks in. Fong wakes up remembering this is the girl who caused trouble in the secret realm, the one whose equipment he basically stole after her team got demolished. Everyone's asking if she's really 4th ranked on the supernova list and from a prestigious big city school. Then she asks to sit next to Fong, and the teacher thinks it's a great idea. She walks over and sits next to Fong. And the entire boy group just wants to beat up Fong, cursing Fong and wondering why all the beautiful girls are attracted to this bastard. So in the principal's office, Principal Jiang is losing his mind, asking Principal Fong what dirty tricks he used to steal Chang Meishu from his school. Fong's playing innocent, while Jiang explains that losing Mushu also means that they lost one training camp spot, which could tank his school's approval rate. Principal Fong is grinning internally, realizing how Jiang is in deep trouble since there are only 4 slots in the entire province, and 2 went to his school. And now, one of those students is transferred to his school. Then the assistant announces that some big shot from the adventure management department is here, and both principals nearly have heart attacks. This is like having the president show up unannounced at your local community college. The old man walks in with his grandson. Fong, are you hey? What the heck, why is everyone named Fong in this manhwa? Couldn't the author come up with different names? Well, anyways, the old man's grandson is ranked 12th nationally as a blood knight with uncontrolled dark powers. That could put him in the top 5 if he mastered them. Fong asks the old man how he can help him, and the old man says that his grandsons want to transfer to his school. Jang's jaw drops. He is thinking, why would they choose a run-of-the-mill school like this then? He realized that everyone on the National Supernova list has a spot in the training camp. So that means that Fong's school just gained 1 additional spot. Then Lao casually mentions they have 2 training camp spots to assign, and Jang's jaw hits the floor, because that's almost all the spots in their entire province. Fong doesn't waste this opportunity to rub it in Jang's face before kicking him out. He was basically like, hey, can't you see important people are talking? So go away, man. His face here is hilarious. Then Fong cuts to the chase, asking if the spots are really from Ning Fong, from 3rd year class 2, since the kid only recently awakened. Ludia says it's up to the department, and Fong shouldn't question it. The principal's thinking about how the adventure management department operates independently of the 7 great guilds with massive influence, wondering how the hell Fong connected with this guy. Back in class, Fong is confused to seeing all his Lion Guild friends transferred to his school. Shu cheerfully explains they wanted to be closer to him and mentions they tried to get Joe Trump too, but he declined, so she got a spot. Wang Yu and me, Shu, are having some kind of intense stare down, probably sizing each other up as romantic rivals. The Berserker is excited to meet Leo's grandson, and Feng Ru's being all polite, saying he hopes for everyone's support. Meanwhile, Muchu's panicking, thinking she's not the only one interested in Feng and needs to step up her game. He's prepared some gifts, but needs the right moment. The rest of the class is watching this group with pure envy, wanting to know how Feng assembled this ridiculously impressive squad. Even without him, this crew would be the most stacked group in any high school nationwide. Feng's thinking things just got more exciting, but he's curious why Zhou Cheng turned down a training camp spot, and why nobody seems concerned about his disappearance. So since we thought about Zhou, we cut to that bastard's house. His father's sitting there all worried, while a guard reports there's still no news about the missing out master. His dad had hired some experienced investigators and managed to get Zhou Cheng an extended school leave under the guise of special training. The school thought it was wasteful to give up the training camp spot, but didn't. Ask too many questions and things get sketchy. The father heads to Zhou Cheng's room and taps on a wall image that opens a hidden door. He enters this secret room with a dark altar, looking suspicious as hell. Either this family is into some occult stuff, or Dad knows way more about his son's disappearance than he's letting on back at school. It's gift exchange time. Ruffung pulls out a skill book for summoning water elements. Super rare and valuable. Mutu counters with a blade enchantment book. For battle, mages, another rare profession skill. Both are trying to impress Feng with premium presents. But here's the problem. Feng can't actually learn either skill, because when he tried to enter a secondary secret realm to unlock new skill bars, the system blocked him for not having a 5-person group. So he's sitting there with these amazing gifts he literally cannot use. Instead of being awkward about it, Fitting goes full power move and pulls out 40 advanced experience potions. Given 20 to each of them, Mooch is like, "Isn't this exclusive Azure Guild treasure?" Rue is thinking about how these potions are highly valued at the auction house and are rarely available. And the fact that Feng has 40 of them means that this guy is actually someone super important. And then suddenly the conversation shifts to thighs. He walks up to our boy, saying that she also has a gift for him. And then she pulls out a shiny new potion that Shui refined. She hands over the potion to Feng, and our boy is really impressed with what Four Eyes has come up with. Cut to Duan's house, where Duan is, wondering if Feng forgot about the promised hellish training since he hasn't mentioned it. Feng shows up early explaining, training camp students get flexible schedules, then hands Duan a nourishing potion that heals accumulated internal injuries. Feng told him to drink the potion first, and then they'll start the training. Duan's excited, thinking the hellish training is finally starting, and chugs the potion immediately. So Feng asked Duan how he's feeling after chugging the healing potion. And Duan's like, "My body's warming up, and those nagging injuries feel lighter." Our boy is thinking this stuff really works, since it nearly healed his own curse-inflicted injuries. Then he says that it's time for hell training. Duan's practically vibrating with excitement, shouting that he understands and can't wait to start. Feng tells him to speak up the moment he can't continue, then starts using his sorrow of abuse skill to analyze Duan's weaknesses. He sees that Duan's lung injury is healing, thanks to the potion, but also notices that his energy overload skill has been causing accumulated damage, resulting in 2% strength loss, reduced stamina, and an 11% drop in skill effectiveness. Feng explains that energy overload isn't suitable for him because of the lung damage, and his skill combinations are completely wrong. Duan is shocked that our boy spotted all these issues so quickly. Then Feng shouts, "Training starts now," and immediately strikes at Duan, changing direction at the last second. Duan gets the idea, but it's too late. He takes a direct hit and drops to his knees. When Feng asks how he's doing, Duan says he's fine and can continue. Feng's thinking about how his previous test subjects helped him learn to use this skill without completely destroying someone's consciousness. The pain's unavoidable, but at least Duan won't lose his mind despite the agony. Dong gets back up thinking his boss is probably the only person in the world who can make him stronger, and he's not wasting this opportunity. After some intense training, we cut to Doan in the actual training field, facing a demon, but now he's like a completely different fighter, dodging, effortlessly leaping onto the demon, spinning in the air, while concentrating energy in his dagger and driving it into the demon's back. The thing roars in pain, and Duan finishes it off easily, grinning and asking for the next stage. Jing is shocked, saying there are no more stages. They used up all the monster information Duan provided. That's when our boy collapses from exhaustion. But he's overwhelmed with happiness, crying because his master's training let him clear the entire training field. Old Lao can't believe what he's witnessing. Elevating a 4th transformation warrior to this level in just half a month is basically impossible. He calls it miracle and says, the agency definitely needs to maintain good relations with a mysterious great boss. His head starts heating up again, and when Jing worries about him, he laughs, saying, reaching his age as a transformer is already a blessing. Jing's thinking. The old man sends grandson to study in Shinyu to pass the torch, but she's still concerned about the dark powers. Price constantly burning away his life. She wonders if the great boss might have a solution. Lao looks thoughtful, watching Duan on the ground, and says they'll discuss it later. First, they need to get Duan ready for the secret rel trial. So if a sharp blue guild, Lao and Duan arrive at this massive reception with Lu Yingjin, introducing himself as the Yu Guild leader. He's got all 7 guild presidents lined up behind him. Duan's thinking, these are all 5th transformation warriors, or close to it, and not even his master could gather this kind of crowd for a meet and greet. He realizes the divine apparition incident really shook everyone up, and the only person who stayed calm, facing actual gods, was his master. which is why the guy deserves his legendary status. Meanwhile, Shoes, Konfuset Wai Yang Jin, is making such a big deal about welcoming a fourth transformation warrior, especially since Yang Jin just surpassed the fifth transformation. Himself, he's getting stressed, thinking all these old foxes are just using the secret realm as networking opportunities to benefit themselves. Then they head straight to the portal, and Shu tells Duan that everyone admires having a strong person there and hopes he can show his strength. Duan's not really paying attention and just says sure thing because he's got more important stuff on his mind. That's when he sets up his phone on a tripod, pointing at the battlefield, so Fong can watch everything remotely. All the guild leaders crowd around the phone, wanting to know if the mysterious great boss is really going to watch them. Cut to Duan's house where Fong's chilling on the couch, watching this whole thing unfold. He comments on Duan's impressive speed as his friend starts delivering rapid-fire attacks that leave everyone stunned. Young Jin's, like his abilities, are incredible. His speed multiplied several times. While she was asking if Duan's really only in his fourth transformation, they're watching this guy move so fast. He's already surpassed President Lu's performance. Then Duan faces this massive demon, but instead of being intimidated, casually finishes it off without breaking a sweat. The system congratulates him for successfully completing the trial, and everyone's jaws hit the floor because nobody expected him to actually pull it off. But here's where it gets wild, folks. Duan looks up and sees this bright light. As the system informs him, he's received the blessing of the gods as a first completion reward, which turns out to be a forbidden spell from actual deities. All the guild leaders lose their minds, learning that god blessings are literally forbidden spells. She's having a complete meltdown. Realizing this is a first completion only reward, meaning nobody else can get it. Now, since it's a secret realm, he thinks that reward should have been his. Then comes the plot twist. That's both hilarious and tragic. The system scans Duan's body and tells him his profession level isn't advanced enough to learn the forbidden spell. So Duan's standing there, confused about why he can't learn the forbidden spell. An old man Lo's equally baffled. Meanwhile, Feng's watching through his phone, thinking back to the Demon King's memories, realizing that professions in this world haven't reached their ideal form yet, which is probably why Duan got cock. Blocked by the system decides to be helpful and adjust the reward to an emblem of divine grace. Instead, the system explains he's got 3 different profession paths to choose from, all blessed by the primordial Holy Spirit of the 12 gods. The options are pretty sick, though. First is Spiritual Swordmaster, controlling swords with life energy for decisive, deadly strikes. Then Supreme Combat Saint, never using external items, just pure martial arts, with devastating punches and kicks. Finally, Celestial Warrior, masters various weapons, while analyzing enemy skills during battle. Since Duan uses a dagger, he goes the Spiritual Swordmaster, because it makes the most sense. After selecting his path, he gets the emblem of divine grace, which gives him permanent stat boosts. 4 points each to strength and endurance, plus 8% faster vital energy recovery. The system explains this thing contains fundamental universe rules and tells him not to be scared. Just focus on absorbing it. But here's where everything goes completely insane. As Duan absorbs this divine power, the sky lights up with a global system message, announcing that someone completed the God's Trial, a world-class difficulty, with a divine emblem drop rate between 0 and 1%. This wasn't just shown locally. The entire world saw this announcement. People are grabbing their phones, recording this cosmic notification, and wondering what the hell just happened. Fong looks out his window, seeing the message, and gets a system notification, asking him to complete the secret realm and use his power to his advantage. Meanwhile, at the trial site, all the guild leaders are panicking about the world-level difficulty announcement. Ark mentions people everywhere saw the message, confirming it was global. When Duan exits the portal, every guild president rushes toward him. Yinyan thinks Duan's strength can't be measured as a fourth transformation anymore, and believes the entire global evaluation system will be revolutionized because of him. They're all trying to recruit him. Illumina gu hip hop gu. And why you guild? Everyone wants a piece of this suddenly. Legendary warrior. But Duan just smiles and politely declines, saying he's not interested in joining any guild right now. He heads home and excitedly tells Fong he succeeded, without disappointing him. Our boy congratulates him, saying it was all Feng's good efforts. Then Fong sketches the emblem design, asking if it matches what Duan saw. Duan mans, saying it's the same shape, and asks if Fong knows about these emblems. Feng qu'est-ce l'émotion? He got one after completing a mission, and gave it to Wang Yu like. It was no big deal. Duan can hardly believe his master gives away divine items like candy, feeling like his efforts still aren't enough. But Feng's mind is racing with bigger concerns. If the emblem is formed by divine power, and he possesses divine power too, maybe he can obtain emblems in common domains. More importantly, they just learned about the 12 gods, and are wondering if they'll have to face them all. Yuan explains that all of the 7 major guilds are already mobilizing to hunt for more trial. Secret realms after seeing his divine emblem success. All the guilds are going to get involved in this treasure hunt, which means things are about to get very competitive. Feng's brain immediately goes to strategic mode, wondering if the system considers trial completions as missions, and whether he could control the people who pass. But then he realizes the real problem. Sure, divine emblems are nice, but the forbidden magic rewards are the actual threat. If that kind of power falls into enemy hands, it becomes a serious danger to him. Plus, exposing his existence to the gods would create even bigger headaches, and is contemplating how to ensure only his people pass these trials when Duan interrupts, saying he has something else to share, but isn't sure if he did the right thing. That's when we get the juicy backstory about what went down at Azure Sharp Guild. Turns out, according to their contract, all trial rewards were supposed to go to Azure. Sharp Guild. Duan handed over the item drops, but explained he couldn't give them the divine emblem, since it was already absorbed. Shu got furious, demanding the emblem, but only had the courage to threaten Duan in his head. The guild leaders were amazed by the high-level items, especially this forgetfulness potion formula that can remove specific skills and free up skill slots, since leveling up is difficult and skill choices determine your future. This potion is basically a reset button for your entire character build. She's thinking this could change the world, just like the experience potions. And if they monopolize it, as your Sharp Guild could surpass official guilds by attracting powerful people. When Shu demands secrecy about the formula, Duan qu'est-ce l'émotion? He's seen this exact formula before, from the great mysterious boss. Everyone's jaws hit the floor, because they thought first completion rewards were unique. An unprecedented. Shu gets desperate, insisting it's impossible for the mysterious boss to know trial secrets. But Duan says that even the high-level experience potions they have were produced by the boss long ago. The guild leaders are connecting dots, realizing Duan's incredible power might come from using these boss-made potions. Meanwhile, old Lao is smiling broadly, watching this chaos unfold. When Yu and John ask why he's so happy, Lao basically tells him to mind his own business. He's remembering how his grandson mentioned Ning Feng could easily get 40 experience potions from a mysterious boss, because the guy didn't care about such small treasures. Lo's patting himself on the back for the genius move of transferring his grandson to that school. As they're leaving, Lo asked Duan if the mysterious boss has other potions, explaining that dark forces are corrupting his body daily, and he wants to live longer, to spend time with his grandson. The vulnerability hits hard. This powerful old man just wants more time with family. Duan promises to ask his boss, and Leo's genuinely grateful. Back home, Duan apologizes for making decisions independently, but Feng reassures him he did nothing wrong. Our boy is actually interested in helping Lao, if possible, wondering if the nourishing potion would work on the old man's dark force corruption. After thinking for some time, Feng whips out some potions and tells Duan to deliver some nourishing elixir bottles to Old Man. Lao and our boy doesn't waste a second and heads off to deliver the potions. At Lo's company, Jing explains, the Old Man is in an important meeting at the main office. So, she offers to hold on to the elixirs until he returns. Then she goes to check on Ruifeng's room, wondering if the kid's even there, since he just arrived in Chinu City and doesn't know anyone, but there's this ominous aura seeping from under Ruifeng's door. Inside, the poor kid's kneeling on the floor, trembling and sweating as some sinister voice offers to save his grandfather's life in exchange for submission. Ru Feng shows some backbone, though, shouting that he's the grandson of the great Lao Feng and demanding to know how this voice dares make demonic deals with humans. The voice just laughs, calling humans weak creatures bound by strange rules, taunting him about how long he'll resist. Then, it delivers the psychological warfare finishing move, hoping he'll still talk tough. When his grandfather dies before his eyes, later at the training field, Ru Feng is sitting alone looking absolutely miserable when Feng shows up wondering why he seems so restless. Our boy tries to cheer him up by suggesting they play 3 Kingdoms on his phone. But Ru Feng apologetically explains his grandfather doesn't allow gaming at school. Feng's cool with it, saying they can play when Grandpa returns, and mentions how impressive Leo's gaming skills are. That's when we get this heartbreaking backstory. Ru Feng explains his parents died on a mission when he was young, leaving him completely shattered. And withdrawn, he became antisocial and locked himself in his room all day. And his grandfather didn't know how to help until he remembered the kid used to love battle games. So Lao Feng secretly learned to play them, just to connect with his traumatized grandson. During Ru's darkest moments, it was his grandfather who stayed by his side, helping him emerge from the shadows. Meanwhile, in a meeting room, Leo's gang briefed on some seriously bad news. They're looking at Pong Hai, a 4-star professional who was in prison 8 years ago for malicious injury, but mysteriously vanished from prison 6 years back. Then there's Gang, another 4-star professional who supervised Variant, disappeared from home 5 years ago. Both suddenly reappeared and brutally murdered 2 elderly adventurers and their families in Pong Hai's old house. Leaving no survivors, these murdered adventurers were part of the team that originally captured Pong Hai. So this looks like revenge against Lao Feng's crew. But here's what's really terrifying. The victims were 4th transformation experts, yet they got completely destroyed by these supposedly 3rd transformation assassins. The surveillance footage shows Ing effortlessly dodging a sword strike and then systematically piercing the adventurer's body with multiple dagger strikes, giving him 0 chance to fight back. Everyone watching is sweating bullets, because it's clear Yang has somehow surpassed the 5th transformation power. Even Lao admits that in a direct confrontation, he probably wouldn't be a match for Yang. So now everyone's wondering, what on earth Yang went through during those missing years to jump from 3rd to beyond 5th transformation power. That kind of progression doesn't happen naturally. Someone or something definitely gave him a major upgrade, and it wasn't through normal training methods. Cut to the Chen household, where Mr. Chen's pacing around nervously until Yang and Pao Hai walk in and asks if they found any clues about his missing son. And Pong Hai says that he sensed some extremely powerful dark forces. He explains that low level favored ones can only use dark power with demon lore blessings, but true favored ones like themselves get personally summoned and trained by demon lords in secret realms. For extended periods, Pang Hai thanks Chen's son, caught a demon lord's attention, and got invited to this exclusive dark training program. Chun gets excited, thinking this means his family will finally be able to compete with the Wong group. Like really, your son might be getting corrupted by literal demons, and you're thinking about business advantages. Paul Hai inspected the dark ritual room and confirmed the setup was correct. As long as the son continues making sacrifices, his potential should attract the demon lord's attention. Then he hands Chen a paper, asking for transportation to a marked location because they're going to visit a future disciple. Meanwhile, Ruefeng is having flashbacks about how his parents sacrificed themselves to seal an uncontrollable secret realm entrance, saving the entire city. The heroic legacy makes what's about to happen even more tragic. He's gazing at stars through his window when someone knocks on his door. Two sinister-looking men show up, and when Ryu Fong asks who they're looking for, Pang Hai confirms his identity with a wicked smile. They want to come in for a discussion, and when Ryu gets suspicious about their dangerous aura, Pang Hai calls a master and says they're there to check on him. From now on, he should call them elder brothers. They mentioned he met their master the previous night, and he recognizes the same dark aura from the voice that tried to tempt him. Without hesitation, he equips his armor and prepares to fight, because he knows exactly what these guys represent. But the power difference is brutal. He barely has time to react before his head gets grabbed, and he's thrown against a wall that shatters under Pang Hai's strength. The blonde one gets furious, asking how Ryu dares attack his elder brother. The next thing you know, the gorilla man is grabbing Ryu by the head, and our boy is struggling to get Pang Hai's hand off his head. Seeing that Ryu has no intention to calm down, Pang Hai hits him with a devastating stomach punch that has him coughing up blood. Kong Hei lifts the beaten kid and delivers the classic villain speech. Their master holds him in high regard and is willing to grant great power that could save his grandfather's life. All he has to do is become a great expert. By joining the dark side, Rue makes it crystal clear there's no way he'd ever accept that deal, which shows serious backbone, considering he's currently getting badly beaten. But then Ing reports he searched the house, and old man Lao isn't there. The blonde psycho gets disappointed, saying he wanted to greet the veteran. Ryu starts begging them not to harm his grandfather, and that's when Paul Hyde drops the ultimate psychological warfare bomb. He releases the kid's head, letting him face plant on the floor, then explains how sacrificing loved ones can unleash even greater dark power. He gives Ryu 3 days to think it over, agree to become their disciple, and they'll leave the past behind, but refuse and Grandpa dies. Looking at a photo of Rue and his grandfather, Pang Hai comments it would make a fitting gravestone. Meanwhile, Fang's in some dungeon, casually obliterating demons with his staff, frustrated that he can't find suitable places to level up efficiently. His systems being its usual unhelpful self, calling the mission a piece of cake, while reminding him he's got 43 days to complete the second transformation, or die. That's when he gets a call from Duan. Fong realizes by the tone that it's something serious. Duan said that he got a call from old man Lao, and he wants to become the apprentice of the great, mysterious master cut to the hospital, where Fong visits Ryu, who's trying to stay positive, despite being in the special mutant ward for dark power monitoring. The kid's never seen anything like this place before, and Fong jokes that no normal person would ever get admitted there. At hospital reception, Lalo showing photos of Pong Hai and Ing explaining they're extremely dangerous threats to public safety. The government's taking this seriously, but has no viable solutions. Munchie's holding on a hope that the mysterious boss agreed to his proposal, and Duan clarifies it's not about taking disciples, but finding opportunities to help with training. Fong apparently prefers a peaceful life, but doesn't want evildoers getting away with murder. The old man asks what the boss needs, and one explains he wants an independent training space, secret, discreet, and convenient. Plus, the old man could undergo special training there. Tu Lao agrees to provide a satisfactory answer quickly, but then they hear noise and rush toward Rue's room. Turns out those bastards Pong Hai and Ing are in the hospital room with a fruit basket, acting like concerned visitors. The blonde one apologetically says it was his fault for being rude and putting Rue in the hospital, so he felt guilty and came to check on him. Seeing these bastards, Grandpa goes full Ghost Rider mode, ready to burn them alive. Hung Hai turns and asks the old man if he's planning to fight them. In a place like this, at this moment, Lao wants nothing more than to kill these bastards, but he can't exactly fight them in a public place. They'll harm the innocents. So he calms himself after that. They just walk past him and run at Duan on their way back, where the bastard shows why he is an asshole and spits on Duan. Duan too wanted nothing more than to beat them up, but held back because of old man Lao. Lao apologizes to him, but Duan says that there is no me for that. Meanwhile, our boy Fong walks into Ru's room and goes straight for the fruits. He said that they look nice and fresh, so it'll be a waste to not eat them. Later that same day, we get this scene of Pang Hai, Ying and Chen's father living it up. Drinking with women, the blonde mentions Wang, you from the wine group, being interesting, and Chun laughs saying, his son originally planned to use her as a sacrifice, but Pang Hai is welcomed to take her instead. Casual human trafficking conversation over cocktails. These guys are absolutely vile, man. That's when the wall suddenly explodes, and Fong and Duan make their dramatic entrance through the dust and debris. Chen's furious, demanding to know who's there, and Duan orders everyone, except Pang Hai and Yin, to leave immediately. Two assassins just smile, saying finally it came for them. They've been expecting this confrontation. Yang wastes no time, launching at Duan with his lightning sword. But Duan effortlessly blocks the attack with his dagger, leaving Yang completely puzzled. Duan realizes Yang has surpassed the 5th transformation level, and without his master's training plus divine blessing, he would have been instantly defeated. Yang's friend is shocked, wondering how Duan blocked so easily, but then figures one only needs to stall for a moment to give the protagonist an opening to strike. So he turns, expecting to see some epic battle coordination, only to find our boy was calmly sitting there, opening a snack and eating it leisurely, like he's watching a movie. So Duan doesn't waste a single second, striking immediately and telling Yang not to get distracted during combat. Yang gets furious, summons his full battle outfit, and charges at Duan. Their attacks collide with this massive energy explosion that has all the civilians trembling in terror, too scared to leave, but definitely not wanting to stick around for this supernatural death match. Meanwhile, Mr. Chen notices Pang Hai radiating this sinister aura, and the blonde psychopath decides it's time to release his power too. But here's Fong completely unbothered, casually commenting on how delicious the melon seeds taste. The man's having a snack review, while literal demons are powering up around him. Pang Hai finally attacks our boy, who calmly rises from his chair to defend the assassin, retreats, powers up his sword even more, and summons his intimidating armor for maximum psychological effect. But Feng's not impressed. He activates his passive ability, Killer Nature, which continuously increases all his attributes, up to 100% when using magical melee weapons, and wonders if he might be facing a battle mage, questioning how such a powerful one could even exist. Then he notices a crack forming under his feet and barely dodges Feng's black horn attack, only to realize that was just a distraction for the real attack from behind. The blonde manages to block the last second, but thinks Feng's techniques seem unimpressive, like he's an inexperienced novice. That his survival instincts kick in, and he realizes this might be intentional. Maybe there's some trick he's missing. He stays alert while delivering another powerful blow, but Feng just waits patiently, defending against the first, second, and third attacks until he spots an opening and strikes at Pang Hai's neck. The assassin blocks, but can't stop Feng from relentlessly attacking his entire body. That's when Pang Hai realizes something's seriously wrong. The protagonist is getting stronger with every moment of combat, which is exactly what that passive ability does. Getting cornered, Pang Hai desperately shouts for Feng to wait, wanting to negotiate. When Feng decides to humor him and listen, the assassin suggests they sit and talk, since they're both powerful. There's no need to fight to the death. Fong says there's nothing to talk about. The situation is beautifully simple. Pang Hai dies, and he lives. This infuriates the blonde, who calls him arrogant, claiming that in his master's eyes, Fong is nothing but an insignificant insect. That gets Fong curious, wondering if the master might be the demon king from the secret realm. Pang Hai confirms it and starts this intimidating monologue about how his master is beyond human comprehension, has killed countless demon kings from various secret realms, and enjoys crafting ornaments from powerful enemies, bones, but instead of being terrified, Fong gets excited, asking if the master really killed demon kings and collected their remains. That bastard thought that our boy got scared, but Na Fong just grins and asks him, "So would you mind telling him where this great master of yours is hiding?" So outside the building, Old Lo's crew has arrived on the scene. Jing confirms. The battle's happening on the top floor of some jail, corporation property, and witnesses identify the residents as likely Pong Hai and Ning Lao. Waste no time, casting detection magic toward the building to scope out the situation. He observes the fight and confirms it's really Pong Hai, getting his ass handed to him, plus notes that the masked guy has visible magic and must be using camouflage. Meanwhile upstairs, the battle was raging on, and our boy's attributes have reached 60% and are climbing thanks to that passive ability. Leo's impressed watching these simple, direct technique, completely dominating an opponent through pure statistical advantage. He's wondering where the hell such a powerful warrior could have come from when Feng's attributes hit 80%. Pang Hai pulls out his trump card, transforming into this terrifyingly colossal monster with a massive demonic mouth that swallows foam. Hold the blonde's thinking. He never imagined anyone could force him to use this technique, though he knows it comes with serious costs. Old Laos watching this monster transformation are like, holy shit, the battle intensity just went through the roof. Meanwhile, Duan's still casually fighting Ying, who asks if he's worried about his partner getting devoured. Duan says that he doesn't need to concern himself with his master because he isn't qualified to do so. Then he slashes Ying, who can't dodge the quick attack, adding that Ying's apparently unqualified too. That's when Mr. Chen starts cheering about how amazing Pang Hai is, and how these small fry aren't even opponents for him. Without mercy, the monster slices Chun in half, right in front of the terrified women. Then comments that Chun was the useless one, releasing even more power. Pang Hai declares that since he transformed, he might as well devour some stronger enemies. He looks directly at Lao's observation orb, which terrifies the old man when he realizes he's been discovered. Just when this bastard was about to drop his villain monologue, a massive explosion erupts from within Pang Hai, leaving him completely confused about what's happening. Then Fong emerges from inside the monster, and Pang Hai collapses, with his stomach completely ruptured. After our boy casually walks out of his stomach, he's thinking about how he's been using these abilities for ages, but still isn't familiar with real combat. Meanwhile, Bing is freaking out, screaming over his partner's broken body. But Duan just says, "Don't be sad. You'll be meeting him soon," as he slices him in half. Feng approaches the dying Ying, saying not to die yet because he wants information. Cut to the Blood Mist Valley's secret realm, where a servant reports intruders at the entrance. The Demon King orders everyone to stay away because he suspects they came specifically for him. He reveals shattered gems, the soul artifacts of Pang Hai and Yang, confirming both are dead before dying. Yang activated his artifact, letting the Demon King hear someone asking where his master was. Yang revealed his master was in Mount Yuju's secret realm and promised revenge. The Demon King decides to handle this personally, since anyone capable of killing his enhanced subordinates would demolish regular servants. He thinks about how his minions can only rely on his power, while special races like humans can level up independently through sacrifice. Then he picks up this skull from his armor, remembering how he used to be a regular Demon King, until stumbling upon some high-ranking Demon King's legacy through those teachings. He gained immense power and learned human control, repeatedly defeating enemies and turning them into trophies. That's when Feng shows up and immediately nukes the place with Descent of the Thunder God, summoning a massive thunderstorm with celestial powers. He was bored because the heavy mist prevented him from seeing anything, and he hadn't encountered monsters yet. So his solution was basically carpet bombing the entire area with divine lightning. The Demon King gets absolutely fried by this casual area of the effect attack, Then Fong's system detects legacy of the end, and he gets excited thinking his system isn't damaged. Following the aura source, he finds what he's looking for in the hand of a black statue, which is actually the charred Demon King. He just accidentally electrocuted. Our boy has no idea he just one-shot the main villain. While looking for loot, he starts absorbing the legacy fragments, wondering why there's only one, when there should be countless relics. After absorption, his attributes increased by 100 points, without using any abilities. He levels up to 40, and he can learn new skills. He says he can now crush most adventurers. Finally, he picks up a skill book for summoning Curse, wondering if he could summon a great Demon King, and whether this would make him more of an evil god. So Frank decides to learn the Gate of Darkness skill first, and figure out the consequences later. This forbidden spell lets him open dark gates to summon either a constant stream of dark creatures for 12 hours or one high-level demon lord indefinitely. At first he thinks it might not be useful, but then realizes he can summon an unlimited demon lord. His thoughts change real quick. Meanwhile, at Lowe's headquarters, Duan's explaining how difficult those enhanced assassins were, and that they left no survivors for safety reasons. That was grateful they saved his life and entire family, not knowing how to repay the favor. Jing says that officials were willing to trust the master's judgment and show goodwill while suppressing skeptical voices. Otherwise, Pang Hai-Inning could have caused massive damage. Then Lao says that several training locations were immediately approved because the country values the mysterious master. He hands over envelopes with information about carefully constructed facilities, offering excellent environment, infrastructure, and privacy. Duan suspects his master just want cover for secret training methods, so he lets Fong choose for himself. They visit the training base, and Feng's blown away by the size. Duan explains it's a newly built adventure base called Area 51 that hasn't been used yet, if the mysterious master likes it. The entire base gets assigned directly to him. Feng can't believe all of this is really his. And honestly, who would? The tour reveals a 10-floor building with training zones, offices, leisure areas, and common spaces for about 2,000 people. There are advanced intelligent control systems, dining areas, and rooftop gardens. Duan assures him he could stay there for years. If needed, Fong gets excited, thinking he can finally cultivate his own forces, since the location's perfect. Meeting with Leo to finalize arrangements, the old man laughs, saying he expected the master to choose base 51. He says that since Fong saved Chinyu City twice, Longbo City once, and eliminated the main threats, the country provides strong support for heroes. The base is completely free. All he needs to do is just sign the documents. Fong's surprised by how friendly officials are being. Duan mentions his master doesn't like mundane matters, so base management will be interested to him and Ning Fong. Lao offers to help with guild formation too, but Duan asks if there's a way to access information without creating a guild, since his master isn't skilled with internet stuff. Lao explains that for national level experts, like the Great Master, they can arrange a dedicated information channel, as long as it's not highly confidential. Information gets synchronized and shared with the agency. Feng realizes they're treating the mysterious master as a national level expert, which is way more efficient than him and Duan, gathering intel manually. He's thinking about transforming the base into something other than a guild. Since there's no shortage of high-quality resources, Duan tells Lao that special training for him is organized for next week. And the old man's pleased. That's when Lao gets a call about mysterious disappearances, similar to Pang Hainyang's cases. Fearing similar individuals might appear again, this deeply concerns him, because even with special training, he can't fight enemies alone. He wonders if there's a way to train strong people. Quickly that evening, Lo visits his grandson and notices a suitcase, immediately asking where Ru's headed. So Ru Fang's all excited, explaining to his grandfather that the Supernova training camp is starting, and Ning Fong organized special training for them. He got a call saying he needs to be at the training base in 2 days, so he's packing early to avoid being late. When Grandpa asks how many people are going, Ru says 5 total, including himself. This gets Liu so excited that he literally turns into Ghost Rider again, head blazing with flames. Poor Ru has to warn him his head's on fire. But Lowry assures him he took the medicine Duan gave him and is clearly improving. But the dark power's still hard to control. Lowry frames his question, asking what kind of people Ming Fong invited. Ru explains they're just good friends. And aside from himself, the others have known Ning Fong for ages. This makes Grandpa even more excited, thinking the great master will look after those close to him. He kneels down to help pack and advises Ru to listen carefully to Ning Fong, since it's a rare opportunity. He also reminds him to control his pace and not forget to call when ready for rank matches. Ro's confused by this sudden burst of grandfather enthusiasm at the training base. Wang Yu's group arrives, and she's intrigued, commenting that this seems like the place named Fong mentioned, but there's nothing except forests. Then they notice something strange and get teleported to where Fong and Lo's grandson are waiting. Everyone's amazed by the place, noting that even the 7 great guilds' main bases can't compare to this location. The blonde girl immediately wants to know how Fong found such a place. He smiles, explaining it belongs to one of his older friends, and he borrowed it. Wang Yu thinks to herself, she's never heard Fong mention these friends before, and he's become increasingly mysterious since awakening. Fong introduces Duan as the person in charge during training, and everyone greets him. When the Berserker asked if Fong knows Duan well, Fong gets irritated and says that the celestial phenomenon some time ago was caused by Duan passing the trial of gods, and he's even stronger than the Wu Guild leader. Everyone's shocked and immediately heads to the training grounds. At the training field, they get excited and release their auras. Duan's impressed, wondering why they became so animated suddenly. Meanwhile, Fong observes, thinking that by casting a forbidden spell to simulate training room effects, they won't need to worry about exposure. He's also considering establishing a guild, cultivating only the strong without limitations, and selecting members based purely on strength and determination. To create an alliance, Yu starts first, but immediately gets struck in the arm and screams in pain. The sense of dread she got from the environment was incredibly real, she thinks. How this training would definitely break someone's will. If it were controlled, she wonders if Ning Fong endured such cruel trials to become stronger, not knowing he's literally the one creating this nightmare scenario. Zhang Shu reflects that neither he nor Shu are supernovas and never dared hope to surpass others' talent through hard work, but Fong showed them there's hope. Ryu is thinking he can't rely on grandfather's protection forever and wants to protect people he cares about. Meanwhile, Shu Wei stays silent and our boy Fong smiles, saying you're all doing very well. So everyone's completely exhausted after the forbidden magic torture session, commenting they feel like they've been suffering for centuries and are nearly dead. Duan enters, declaring that's enough for today, and announces targeted training tomorrow. They head to a VIP room where Yu admits that, although special training just started, the gains already surpassed previous years. She emphasizes it's impossible to identify weaknesses, relying solely on self-understanding. Ru often reflects that his dark power felt strange. During training, even when giving his best effort, there are no signs of it going out of control. The forbidden magic training environment is apparently so intense, it's actually stabilizing his chaotic abilities. It's both terrifying and impressive. That's when Shu Wei starts crying, and Fong asks what's wrong. He explains it's due to stress from skepticism spreading online about their school getting more supernova. Training camp spots Fong checks his phone in disbelief, and they discover various toxic comments about the school. But then, they notice someone defending them in the comments. Chan Mu-hu, replying to every single person mocking them. Everyone's astonished she'd be willing to defend them, especially since she barely knows some of them. She wipes her tears, explaining she was nervous about embarrassing Ming Fong, but the special training made her feel confident instead of nervous. So she cried from joy rather than stress. Fanning tells everyone to train peacefully and promises another gift in a few days. When you ask what it is, Fong says it's a secret, leaving her pouting. Then we cut to our boy sitting in his bed, thinking about the info he got when he absorbed the memories of the Demon King. Last time in those memories, he found something about the evil god. It turns out there are 7 evil gods, born of darkness, were common beliefs of monsters in the secret world. But Fong doesn't belong to these 7. Instead, he holds the title of one of 12 lords, the omniscient god Mafik, alongside 11 other gods. He led their families to destroy a legitimate evil god, ensuring dark entities wouldn't invade the light world again. But after eliminating the darkness threat, the omniscient god became obsessed with studying dark power. The other 11 gods noticed and fought against him, but he escaped and became an evil god himself. But the demon realm has a completely different story. According to demons, once freed from darkness threats, the gods' dependence gradually lost crisis. Awareness and faith diminished. Since gods create families solely to gain power from faith, this enraged them, so the gods encouraged their dependents to attack each other, using them as entertainment and sacrificial offerings. Even demons emerged with tacit god approval. This supposedly created the secret realms. Only the Almighty God showed no interest in faith amounts, refusing to participate in this twisted game. One day, war reached his family, and due to lack of defense, nearly everyone was massacred. Furious, he demanded the other gods stop this senseless farce, but got insulted and ridiculed instead. The conflict escalated into a great battle. It took 2 deaths and 6 injuries among the 11 main gods to force the omniscient god to retreat. After that, nobody knows where he went. Rumors suggest he entered an unknown dimension, neither light nor dark, and disappeared. Fearing retaliation, the gods did everything to tarnish his image while searching for his whereabouts. After that, he flies off to a portal, thinking the Adventurer Guild's nationwide information access is convenient for finding unknown secret realms. Entering a dungeon, several monsters rush him, but he easily defeats them all with 1 staff strike, gaining decent experience points. He comments that the experience isn't bad, and the boss will likely drop something valuable. The secret realm boss appears as an iron-armored minotaur. Our boy leaps off and bunks the big guy on the head with his sword. But that damn bastard skin was so tough that his sword broke. He looks at his sword and thinks that his level isn't high, and his weapons aren't as good as those used by 4th or 5th level adventurers. That's why his weapons keep breaking. Seeing this, the Minotaur was feeling smug. He grins, and man, his face is hilarious. Our boy just casually throws his sword and unleashes his terrifying power, and the Minotaur is now sweating bullets. In the next moment, our boy turns him into experience points. But Fong isn't happy. He's thinking about how he only leveled up from 43 to 47. The monster didn't provide much experience and cost him a sword. The only good thing that came from this battle was that he could learn a new skill. So Fong chose Windblade, which gets transformed into Dark Erosion Wind. Our boy thinks the more forbidden spells are better. Otherwise, he'll always worry about lacking power. But he understands. Relying solely on forbidden spells isn't enough. Without proper weapons and equipment, he can't defeat bosses, let alone gods. He decides to head to the nearest city for new weapons. At the shop, a saleswoman approaches, showing him all 7 legendary quality long swords available. Fong asks if there are only 7, but says it doesn't matter. We'll take all of them. The saleswoman is thinking, who is this dude? He looks so young. Yet he has the supreme black card of the trading center, and he's casually buying all the orange quality swords at once. She thinks about how she even showed him the top tier Sky Vault that has the highest attributes among all of the swords, but he didn't even bat an eye, as if it's just low-level stuff. She then went to her colleague for help, but she told her that she's attending to an important guest, so she can't talk right now. Fong buying that sword apparently caused a problem, because some young master of some big family had his eyes on it and had come to buy it personally. So his men are asking why they are giving priority to Fong when both of them have the black card. The manager is thinking how if a conflict happens, she'll definitely lose her job. That young master walks in to like the video and help Mamoru to make juicy content and activate that cheeky little bell.